is likely suiting up at home for the final time before becoming a first-round pick. And above all, running hot after a selection committee snub. The Vols aim to send a resolute and unrelenting message as they host the 2-win UTEP Miners. Here's why this matters. Selection day for the new 12-team playoff is on December 8th. Even though Tennessee is ranked 11th, the Vols are the first team out of the projected field because two teams ranked below them would get in automatically as conference champs. With that, hello and welcome to Knoxville. I'm Loa Galindo here with my guy Fozzie Whitaker. Marilyn Payne will join us from the field. Look, what happens here today, it's not personal. It's all about business. This week, the selection committee bumped up Alabama 3 spots in the rankings after they throttled an FCS opponent in Mercer. They only moved up Georgia 2 spots after they handled Tennessee and sent the Volunteers to loss number 2 on the year. Josh Heupel made it very clear to us this week that he addresses the obvious with his team. They understand above everything, to have a chance, they got to win the final 2. But we get the vibe, and you feel the sense that if they have a chance to throttle the UTEP Miners, they will try to bury them and send a message that the committee cannot deny.
Yeah, Coach Heupel is on a mission. Just like my lapel pin, got the Halo Spartan program. They were sent on special missions, and that mission today is to win and win convincingly to make sure the committee knows exactly what needs to happen moving forward.
Taking on a UTEP team that is now starting to find its groove under the 34-year-old head coach Scotty Walden, second youngest in the FBS. Miners have won 2 of their last 4, and Walden took Austin Peay into this building last season. The Governors lost, but they struck first, and the game was tied at 6 until 30 seconds left in the first half. They're believing a little bit, Fozzie. This is a different animal with this Vols team, though.
You better believe that belief is something that they are hanging on from last season. But last season was last year. It's a new day, new game, new season, and today will define who Tennessee is and who the UTEP Miners are.
Tennessee won the toss. They've elected to defer. So the Miners will get a chance. We'll start with the rock. And this is going to sail out of the end zone. So UTEP football at the 25-yard line. So the Miners, coming off a win against Kennesaw State in double overtime, put up 43 points, the most for the program since 2020. And that man, Skylar Locklear, 4 touchdowns, only 5 incompletions, earned him Conference USA Player of the Week.
Yeah, 84% completion percentage, and then his main go-to target, who we will call a lot on today, Kenny Odom, had a fantastic game. 3 touchdowns, 108 yards. Tennessee has to be aware of where number 6 is on the offensive side of the ball.
Kenny Odom played here for Austin Peay last season, as well as number 1, Trey Goodman. Locklear was the second-string quarterback for the Governors, did not get on the field. Empty for Locklear. Will take a shot, why not, to Odom, and it is broken up by the shutdown corner, Ricky Gibson III. What do you think about the shot right off the bat?
Well, we know we're going to see a lot of man-to-man coverage from Tennessee. That is something that they've done the most of by Coach Banks this year. When you got 2 guys like Ricky Gibson and Jamad McCoy on the edges, you feel very confident. Obviously, UTEP says we feel confident about Kenny Odom there, taking a shot, trying to set the tone on the very first play.
Tennessee defense number 2 nationally in efficiency. Georgia snapped a 10-game streak of holding opponents to under 20 points. Javon Jackson will get the carry. He has gone off over the past handful of games. Jackson with 411 rushing yards over the last 4, and that lines up with the Miners figuring out how to move the football.
Yeah, and moving quickly is something that you're going to see from both of these teams. They actually have a similar identity on the offensive side of the ball. Be aggressive, shifts in motions, wide splits, and then using tempo to your advantage.
This is why Tennessee is so good on 3rd down. It's usually 3rd and long. This is James Pierce and Joshua Joseph's time. Pressure from the middle and miscommunication there, looking for Kenny Odom. And UTEP will go 3 and out. Coming into this game, the UTEP offense, number 4 nationally in 3 and outs. The Tennessee defense, number 4 nationally in forcing 3 and outs.
Well, that played out as you just talked about with that stat, and UTEP couldn't defend the pressure on the interior. Be on the lookout for that to be the key to success for this Tennessee defense.
Adam Jacklin will punt it away to the dangerous Boo Carter, growing in this role with every week. And this will be punted out of bounds. It's going to be fabulous field position for Nico Iamaleava and the Tennessee Volunteers offense. They were brilliant in their opening drive in Athens last week, culminating with a touchdown run by Miles Kinselman. Nico has set the Tennessee freshman record for passing yards in a season. Sometimes we lose sight that Iamaleava is just a freshman. The record-setting tailback, Dylan Sampson, is a guy that truly sets up success for the Volunteers. Kinselman in motion. Nico will throw to a wide-open receiver. It's behind him, and it's going to be picked off by Corey Chapman, the senior from Hoover, Alabama, transfer from Austin Peay that played in this building, and it's going to be ruled incomplete.
This is very close. Got to take a closer look about how this transpired, but obviously the connection with Squirrel White, and the ball is very close to touching the ground there as Corey Chapman tries to reel it in. And for the first play, Tennessee gets away with one.
Clearly incomplete on the replay. And we have a whistle for the snap, and it's going to be an early timeout by UTEP. Looks like they probably want to take another look at that potential interception. That's the type of game-changing play. If you're a team like UTEP, you're hoping
UTEP has called a timeout to challenge the interception on the previous play. That play is under video review.
Now, Fozzie, we know the football can hit the turf, but it cannot aid in the completion of that catch. In this case, an interception.
Yeah, and you got to be able to maintain control of the football as it hits the ground as well. And you see, it goes right between the arms of Chapman, and it hits the ground clearly. I think this is going to stand as an incomplete pass, but something that needs to be noticed, and more importantly, is how inaccurate the ball was thrown behind Squirrel White. And you cannot give a UTEP team looking to find their own momentum, you cannot give those opportunities to the opposite side of the ball early on in the game like Nico just did there.
This honestly should be the quickest review that we've seen in a long time. I mean, that's clear as day watching the replay that it hits the turf, and it should be an incomplete pass as it was called on the field.
After video review, the incomplete pass has been confirmed. UTEP has charged their first time out of the half.
Clear, Fozzie.
Yeah, we take one more look here. Corey Chapman trying to get his arms underneath the football. The ball slides in between, clearly hits the ground there, and ultimately results in an incomplete pass. And Tennessee offense gets away with one on an errant throw behind Squirrel White by Nico Iamaleava.
It is a UTEP defense. It has some dudes, and Corey Chapman is one of them. Typically does his work behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
He leads all defensive backs in the FBS and tackles for loss. Does not have the interception there. Now it's to the ground for the Vols, and going with Dylan Sampson, man that sets up this offense. Leading rusher in the SEC, clear by 200 yards.
And the thing about it is, this Tennessee offense will want to go fast. He's been the feature to the success that they've been able to have, getting some of those dirty, muddy water yardage to be able to keep them on schedule and help keep this offense balanced.
3rd and 5 now for Iamaleava. And complete to Brew. You're going to hear the response from the home faithful as he fights his way forward. Still shy of the 50-yard line to set up a 4th down. Xavier Smith made the stop. And special teams is coming on.
I don't think the crowd likes the decision to line up in punt formation here around midfield with a 4th and 3 to go on the first drive of the game.
So 3 and out for Josh Heupel and Nico Iamaleava. Trey Goodman is back to return the punt for UTEP. Slow developing kick. And this will head into the end zone. So the Vols cannot pin it. 2 3 and outs to start this one here on Rocky Top. $100,000 plus on hand for a must-win for Tennessee, taking on UTEP. No score. Let's go down to the sidelines with Marilyn Payne.
Defensively, the vision today is get back to impacting a quarterback in every way. And Rodney Gardner, the D-line coach for the Vols, already emphasized that as this defense left the field after a first 3 and out. He said, stay gap sound. No matter the situation, doesn't matter if it's light, you have one job, and that's finish through.
They've done that all season long. Locklear pressured from the edge. He can run as well. Has a clear lane to the marker. And a first down pickup for Skylar Locklear. Tyree West had the pressure.
Lane and gap integrity will be critical for Tennessee. Going against a dual threat guy, especially running man-to-man coverage, there's not a man on the quarterback, so you got to make sure you keep him contained.
Revolving door at quarterback for the Miners. Locklear, the 3rd starting quarterback. Double pass potentially. Goodman goes back to Locklear. A bevy of blockers down the sideline. 2 more big fellas, and Locklear will scoot out of bounds. This is something that Josh Heupel was expecting for the Miners to pull out all the stops.
How about the way the linemen all fall on the ground? Trey Goodman having the wherewithal to place a good pass to Locklear, and then Locklear gets the opportunity to have a big explosive play.
Goodman attempted 2 passes in this building for Austin Peay last season, missed on both. Another aggressive shot. This one's going to be picked off. Gerard McCoy says, give me that. Interception number 3 to match the jersey number.
An interception. First down, Tennessee.
Showing the cover skills in the hands and makes him a semifinalist for the Thorpe.
And that's the reason why he is a Thorpe semifinalist. Not only is he sticky with the fingers whenever the ball is close, but the separation is not there. You see Locklear have an opportunity to throw the one-on-one. He mentioned that they wanted to take some shots in this game. Well, you got to create separation. Trey Goodman was not able to create the separation there. Gerard McCoy ends up turning into the receiver, does a fantastic job coming down with the first interception and first turnover of the game.
Tennessee will take possession at the 3-yard line. So after the 3 and out to open up, Nico Iamaleava and company trying to move the sticks and find pay dirt. Sampson is hit at the line of scrimmage. Is going to fight his way forward to the 5-yard line for a 2-yard pickup. Dorian Hopkins, Corey Chapman there to bring down Sampson. A guy with a track background that you can see on film and with the numbers primarily runs between the tackles. Nico to throw, complete to Thornton. And Thornton has the first down. That's the initial first down pickup for the Vols here today.
You mentioned a track background. A lot of the skill guys for Tennessee can really make this offense go.
Nico will throw again. One-on-one coverage at Sells High, looking for Brew McCoy, the most targeted receiver for these Tennessee Volunteers.
The timing has to get right for this offense currently. It seems as though there's a little bit of a pressing, and that's something that Coach Heupel mentioned. You don't want to press, even though they want to impress the committee. You don't want to press too much.
Sampson. A 33-yard pickup before Maurice Westmoreland makes a stop. And you wonder if it's too much tension, too much pressure, knowing that every little thing now is going to matter in the eyes of the selection committee and wanting to absolutely pour it on. You got to start somewhere, though.
Absolutely, and third downs is where Tennessee is very dangerous on the offensive side of the ball, converting at a 45% conversion rate currently.
Iamaleava with time, and that throw is a little too hot for Dylan Sampson. So they got that first down, and then the offense breaks down, forcing another punt. What are you seeing that's a little off right now?
Yeah, the timing between Nico and the rest of the receivers, it's just a tad off. We saw the first pass to Squirrel White that was thrown behind Squirrel White, almost ended up in an interception. The Brew McCoy comeback route on the opposite side of the hash. The timing isn't there currently. They just need to settle in.
Jackson Ross will punt for the second time. And the fair catch is called for by Goodman. It's taking a Tennessee roll inside the 30-yard line. It's a fine job for Jackson Ross. Well, UTEP keep rolling the dice and maintain that aggressiveness here in Knoxville. Logan Lindo here with Fozzie Whitaker. It's almost like March Madness. It's resume season going into this new 12-team playoff. Here's a resume for Tennessee. The best win, Bama. That's a huge win. The losses are both on the road. Night games in the SEC, Arkansas and Georgia. ESPN FPI rank number 9. According to the All-State Playoff Predictor, a 68% chance to reach the playoff. Currently the first team out of the bracket, even though they're ranked ahead of BYU and Boise, but both those teams would go in automatically as conference champs. They need some help, but bottom line, they got to take care of business and win these next two, UTEP and then Vanderbilt. Just a very, very far-reaching chance to even make the SEC championship game. Nowhere for Javon Jackson to go. Caleb Perry, he's been a special team star, getting more run and linebacker, and is there in the scrum to make the stop.
Yeah, in the absence of Keenan Peely, you had to have some of the younger guys step up. Arian Carter, Caleb Perry, Jeremiah Thielander, guys that have made an immediate impact to fill in for Keenan Peely and where he's left off with this injury.
How emotional was that, watching Peely walk in on crutches to celebrate senior day? There is movement there. It was a jump by Caleb Herring, and UTEP responded with a left tackle, Isaiah Wright.
Offside, defense, number 31, entering the neutral zone, causes an offensive player to react. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
And here is Keenan Peely. He's out for the season, tore his ACL against Florida. There was some question whether he could be recovered enough from the ACL surgery to actually make it on the field to take part in this.
Yeah, and for him to be able to take part in some of the senior day festivities probably means a lot. He wishes he could be on the field, but being amongst his brothers probably means just as much.
2nd and 7 for the Miners, going to the tight end, Marcus Vincent, for the first time. Typically sets up a lot of things in the rushing game for Javon Jackson, but has been timely in the passing game lately for Locklear.
He does a lot, very multiple. Jackson's been able to rely on him, like you mentioned, as a blocker. It helps keep their offense on the move because he lines up in so many different spots and utilized in so many different ways for this offense to have success. 3rd
down. This is where Locklear has struggled. Just over a 50% completion percentage, but has Jackson slipping out of the backfield north of the 40, and that is a UTEP 1st down.
Again, we're going to see the man-to-man coverage by Tennessee. What UTEP does perfectly is create natural rub routes to be able to allow Jackson to free release out of the backfield, gain leverage, and then being able to catch that ball and end up in the 1st down.
Back to Jackson, trying to bounce right side, slips through one tackle, and is going to get the edge, forced out by Christian Charles. Another fine pickup, though, for Javon Jackson. So we mentioned some of the Austin Peay transfers like Jackson. They were here last season. How much does that help?
Oh, it helps tremendously. I mean, Trey Goodman had a very good game last year. Some of these guys already being in Neyland, seeing what the atmosphere is all about, seeing how they played them very well in the second quarter. That goes a long way for the experience that they're taking into this game and hopefully trying to prove a point as they make this drive here.
Had 5 carries for 18 yards against the Vols in the opener last year. Jackson trying to shake and bake, will not get 4. David Hobbs is on hand to make the stop. Sophomore from Concord, North Carolina. Big-time prospect out of high school. And here's 3rd down. Jackson had the pickup out of the backfield and their last chance.
Traditionally speaking, this is where Tennessee has thrived. Number 3 in the country, number 1 in the SEC on 3rd down percentages. UTEP sitting at 122nd, just converting on 31% of their 3rd downs.
Time to unleash the hounds. Pressure off the edge, then the middle. Locklear escapes both. That's a 1st down run for Skylar Locklear. He is not fazed by this Tennessee defense.
Big play using his legs, the escapability, able to make a guy miss at the point of impact and then finds a way to scamper and pick up the necessary yardage for a 1st down. Locklear, a guy that was here last year, staying composed under pressure, being able to provide a big play and a big spark for his Miners to pick up the 1st down.
And like Iamaliava also had some issues with a concussion recently that forced him to miss time. Another backward pass. Goodman, this time complete to Vincent. And UTEP don't care. They ain't here to mess around. They're out, emptying the playbook, 29 yards, but there is a flag down on the far side of the field.
Ineligible receiver downfield, offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty, still 1st down.
That's going to go against the right tackle, Azizi Henry. What happened there?
Yeah, he just got past the line of scrimmage, and this is something that Scotty Walden is probably kicking himself right now because they've repped this multiple times in practice for this moment. And you can see at the top of your screen at the right tackle position, he's just 3, 4, 5 yards down the field. And you cannot have that happen on a downfield forward pass, which results in negating a big play and then puts you behind the sticks on 1st down by 5 yards.
Locklear in his career has 1 more passing attempt inside Neyland than Trey Goodman. 5 compared to 4. That one is wiped out because of the penalty. Javon Jackson back to the ground. Typically, we see that ineligible men downfield on scramble plays, not something that's designed like that.
Yeah, and I think he just gets a little, Azizi Henry, just a little too aggressive trying to get downfield and create a play for his team, but ultimately it ends up hurting the Miners. And that momentum that they were able to create, now they got to try to garner that momentum again here on 2nd and long.
Locklear, pressure in his face. He is so good at just making a subtle move to get out of it and then completes on the run to Jackson. About a 1-yard pickup at best. Tyrese West once again was bearing down on him, just going to make a stop.
Yeah, they've been able to provide that pressure, but have not hit home yet. 3rd and 13. This is the opportunity that Tennessee linemen are looking forward to because now they know UTEP has to get deep, and now the rushers can pin their ears back and put some pressure on what Locklear wants to do.
And James Pierce, the pass rush specialist, has just made his way onto the field. You know UTEP will pay attention to where number 27 is, and that's going to lead to a timeout by Tennessee. So looked like it was a scramble mode, getting the right personnel on the field there. They'll figure this out, come back with the pivotal
timeout.
3rd and 13 with UTEP driving here in Knoxville. The dangerous James Pierce doesn't have the sack numbers he did a year ago, but no one in college football has a better pressure rate than Pierce, so he's still wreaking havoc on opposing quarterbacks. How does UTEP play it on 3rd and long?
Yeah, he's an absolute dog. Here they line up in empty position, empty formation, and whenever you go one-on-one with a guy like James Pierce, it's going to create some issues, but be on the lookout for future opportunities to have Marcus Vincent chipping or the running back providing chip help against James Pierce Jr.
And Joshua Joseph's dangerous on the other side as well. Flag is down. Both sides pointing at each other. You did it. No, it was you.
It's like the Spider-Man meme.
Apparently nobody knows who did it.
Offside. Number 55. In the neutral zone, causing an offensive player to react. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
So it's going to be on Omar Norman, lot number 55.
And you see the center flinches, but it was after Norman Lott created an opportunity that forced him to move. Free 5 yardage for the UTEP Miners helps in a significant way at this point on the field. But you still got to be alert and know where number 27 is on the defensive side of the ball.
Locklear dealing with the crowd noise. 3rd and 8. Steps up and is going to be brought down by Josephs. That is that 1-2 punch that is as good as any in college football. You got Joshua Josephs on one side, on the other side, James Pierce.
Yeah, well, they get smart, make sure they put a spy on the quarterback because of the way Locklear has been able to utilize his legs. They do a great job and fantastic job staying home, getting a stop there on 3rd down.
And this is what you love when an underdog comes into a hallowed ground like this. Why not? 4th and 9, roll the dice. UTEP does this a lot. They're not particularly good at it. 7 of 21 on 4th down this season. Locklear is going to be the quick kick. And it works to perfection. Rolling inside the 10, getting some of that wind. And at a footstep ahead of the 5-yard line. So maybe 4th and long, a little too long to go for, but Locklear setting up his Miners defense.
Well, it's all about field position, and you can see the UTEP offense does a great job making it look and appear as though they're about to go for a play on 4th and long, sets up Locklear kick. And that's a weapon that you can utilize if you can pin the opposing offense like that.
Did you see the linebacker, number 7, Arion Carter?
He called it out.
Yeah.
He knew it was going to be a pooch kick, but there's nothing he could do about it unless he went back there to field it himself.
So 2 drives, 1 first down for Nico Iamaliava and company. Peyton Lewis now checks in at running back for the first time. And Lewis will get the carry. The UTEP defense throw it up. Kyron Duhon, the freshman, making the stop. And look at Carter. He knows what's up. Hey, they're about to do that.
Both of the guys.
Playing charades. Nico taking a shot on 2nd down. A wide open receiver. It was Brew McCoy. And that would have been McCoy's first touchdown of the season. It's overthrown.
Those are the shots that Nico wishes he could have back. The shots that create that big opportunity for them to blow this game wide open. But by missing there, again, the pressing seems to be a little bit present there. The inaccuracy, and they just have to settle in, calm down, and connect on plays like that whenever Brew McCoy is that wide open.
UTEP playing without one of their top corners, Amir Boyd Matthews. Backside pressure. Nico did not see it. And Corey Chapman, he didn't get the interception, but he gets the sack. And Kyron Duhon was there as well.
Yeah, and Corey Chapman comes off the bottom edge of your screen from the safety position. Nobody picks him up. Typically, the running back is responsible for a DB blitzing. And then he forces Nico outside of the pocket. Duhon there to clean it up. And ultimately, this is not the start that Tennessee wanted to have on their first 3 offensive possessions.
Just 1 first down on 3 possessions for the Tennessee offense. 4th and 13, uncomfortable spot to be in, right at the edge of the checkerboard. And Trey Goodman calling for the fair catch, and it's UTEP football and plus territory. Our Week 13 SEC football lineup continues today exclusively on SEC Network Plus and ESPN Plus. Our featured games are Arkansas, Louisiana Tech, and number 18 South Carolina Wofford at 4 Eastern, 3 Central. At 4:15 Eastern, 3:15 Central on SEC Network. 23rd ranked Missouri takes on Mississippi State. We cap the night with Vandy, LSU at 7:45. Both games are also available on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. Talk about the path to get in to the playoff for Tennessee. Got to win. Most likely scenario is you have more carnage in the SEC with the 4 teams that are in the playoff field from the conference ahead of them. Back to work for Locklear. A carry left side. Slips through 1 tackle down to the 30-yard line. And Skylar Locklear showing a knack for the big play.
And his dual threat ability has made them very dangerous on the offensive side of the ball. This Tennessee defense going to need to make some quick adjustments, but the speed that the Miners are playing at right now is forcing them to play on their heels rather than being the aggressor.
14-yard pickup. Jackson, nowhere to hide, corralled by Omari Thomas, senior out of Memphis. This will be his final game inside Neyland. Big O, 4th straight season as a starter and a stalwart for this Tennessee defense.
Yeah, one of the best interior defensive linemen in the conference and in the country for that matter. He's made his presence felt. TFL there just beating one-on-one the right guard. Never stood a chance from the snap, being able to use his quickness to his advantage.
Locklear rolling, will throw back the other way. They've done this a lot in recent games. Double coverage, nothing there.
And Locklear's going to be upset at himself as he had Kenny Odom running down the middle of the field with the step or 2 on the defender, and he ends up throwing it to the double covered.
But that's the look they've run. They ran that multiple times against Kennesaw State with the throwback in the other direction.
And the throwback had worked well last week, but this is a different team that you're going against. And any opportunity that presents itself, you have to take advantage of. That's an opportunity missed by the UTEP Miners offense.
Locklear rips it from Jackson. He's being pursued by Dominic Bailey. Throws it to the sideline. Ricky Gibson, the third, is there to break it up. Trey Goodman was the intended target. What do you do now on 4th down and 12?
It's a dangerous pass there by Skylar Locklear. No harm, no foul. But last time we saw the pooch punt. We'll see what they elect to go with here, and it appears to be field goal opportunity for the UTEP Miners.
This is going to be Joe Bowman in. It's typically Buzz Flaviano, but he struggled recently with a couple of crucial misses in the win against Kennesaw State. To get the Miners on the board, no shot. That is well short from 50 yards out. At some point, you got to know your kicker's distance, right? If you can even get close to making a shot like that.
I think the confidence is trying to be there for this UTEP coaching staff. But at the end of the day, if you don't have a shot, you might as well put Locklear in to pooch kick it or find an opportunity or go for it. Or run a fake.
Right here now, you're giving Tennessee best field position they've had. As Brew McCoy, another one of those Vols playing in his final game here on Rocky Top. This place will erupt. It will be insane if he can find the end zone for the first time this season. Imaliaba, 2 for 6, 14 yards. Offense has not been crisp. And here's another example. Drops it, recovers it. Chapman once again living in the Tennessee backfield.
Yeah, Corey Chapman again on a corner blitz. He's in the star position at the nickel, coming off the side. The snap there with Nico not being able to handle it. And then by the time he grabs the football, Corey Chapman is up on him. This UTEP defense providing some pressure and giving some looks that this Tennessee offense is not comfortable with so far.
Best DB in America in terms of getting into the backfield. Back to the ground. This is the bread and butter. The SEC leader, Dylan Sampson.
And the counterplay works wonders there. being able to provide that balance for this offense is what Dylan Sampson has been able to do. It may be fortuitous for this Tennessee offense to be able to lean on Dylan Sampson a little bit in the ground game to get Nico a little bit more comfortable in the pocket and making sure the flow of the game goes the way that this offense needs it to go.
Have to get off a snap before the end of the first quarter here. Nico to throw, looking back to Sampson, who was not featured in the passing game very much, but maybe they should. That's a first down. That's a trend that you picked up coming into this game.
Yeah, that's not typically his forte, but to be able to get this offense started, featuring Dylan Sampson seems to be the key.
That is the end of the first quarter.
In this.
No score at the end of one. 'Tis the season for scoreboard watching here in the SEC. People watching this one going, what the heck's going on? After one, Tennessee, UTEP, all tied up, nothing. Coach Heupel saying, quote, at the end of the day, we have no control over the rankings. Still a lot of football to be played. Reality is 2 more weeks of the regular season play, a conference championship after that. So for us, focus on what we can control. How would you say Tennessee is controlling the controllables thus far?
Well, ultimately, they got to handle what they can handle, and so far, they haven't been able to handle the minors. And that's what needs to get fixed right now on this drive, is being able to get settled in and score some points.
So you're saying feed Dylan Sampson. Instead, it goes to Brew McCoy. McCoy trying to make a man miss, and he takes it down to the 43. Let's check in with Maryland.
Brew McCoy said that being named the first team left out of the playoffs adds a heightened sense of intentionality to how the Vols have to play. He said we have to turn the knob up today.
Brutal hit by DeLeon Williams. Got all of Dylan Sampson. What did that match up?
Yeah, I don't think Dylan Sampson got a chance to see him cleanly. And that hit looked like it hurt.
Nico to throw off the play action. He's got his tight end sitting down. It's Miles Kinselman, who has been a revelation the past 3 weeks. First 26 games for him at the FBS level, 10 targets. Last 3 games, 14 targets, 11 catches, 151 yards for the Bama transfer.
Has made the most of his opportunities and helped keeping his offense where they need to be at.
Nico back to the go-to man, Dylan Sampson. Now 2 catches on this drive, 4 first downs.
Yeah, Dylan Sampson coming into this game only had 15 receptions total on the season. The last 2 catches there go for first down for this Vols offense.
That one from 11, so 2 for 10 plus by Dylan Sampson.
Timeout, UTEP. They're second of the half.
Now Scotty Walden wants to use that second timeout. Used his first timeout to challenge a play that initially looked like it was picked up by Corey Chapman, ruled incomplete. But now the Vols figuring some stuff out. They got the urgency and driving on the minors. First 3 drives for Josh Heupel and the Tennessee offense. 3 punts, 1 first down. This drive, 7 plays, 50 yards, and Nico Iamaleava is heating up now 4 for 4 after a 2 of 6 start. Inside the red zone, and for an elite offense, this is the area of the field where the Vols have struggled. 55% touchdown rate, 104 in the FBS. Sampson on the ground. Fights off 1 tackle. Nate Diamond brings him down. And Sampson is just inching closer to even more records. 21 rushing touchdowns on the season, the school record, 6 most in SEC history, 1 more, and he will match Leonard Fournette, and he does. It's touchdown number 22 on the season, and he breaks the school record previously set by Gene Wild Bull McKever for the most total touchdowns in 1 year.
Amazing job by Dylan Sampson and the rest of this offensive line. They blocked so well. 2 linemen were able to lead block and escort him properly into the end zone. That's whenever you know you got a great run game, and Dylan Sampson is a great running back. doing what he can to be able to get this offense on the board.
Another carry he will remember for a long, long time. Passes Wild Bull, ties Leonard Fournette, and is one shy of Tim Tebow. That's not bad company to be in.
I think he's in great company as he's ending up in the end zone exactly where he needs to be for this Tennessee team to be featured where they want to go. And he had that escort in front of him. Big number 70, Andre Carrick, and big 53, Lance Hurd, laying the smack down on guys to get their guy into the end zone.
You know how it goes in the morning. That iPhone starts going off, and you don't even know what you're doing, but you just keep hitting snooze and snooze and snooze. Then you realize, wait a second, it's go time. It took one quarter. The Vols now know it is go time. And Dylan Sampson, the record-setting back, sparks that touchdown drive. 7-0 Volunteers.
I told you the overcast sometimes can have an effect. Make you feel a little bit sleepy. Not anymore. Sun's coming out.
And it will be UTEP football at the 25-yard line for Skylar Locklear. Led the Miners to their second win of the season against Kennesaw State. Conference USA Player of the Week. Picking up where he left off. He looks poised here, Foss.
Absolutely. He's done a little bit of everything. You see him in the run game. You see him receiving the ball. He's thrown an interception, but at the same time, he stayed composed and poised, and even punting whenever he is asked to do so, and he's delivered quite well for the UTEP Miners. Haven't resulted in punts, but he's done a great job in helping create some momentum for the Miners on the road.
And the sun is out, so now do the Miners wake up even more. For them, they probably look at the first quarter saying this is close to as good as it can get, even though there's no points to show for it. Complete on the sideline, a 5-yard pickup to Imari White. Now, this is a UTEP team playing without Cam Thomas, one of the leading receivers. He is not playing because of a non-football injury and good standing with the team. Imari White is the player that has emerged without Cam Thomas. Empty now for Locklear. Miners looking for a response. Looking right, coming back left. Back to Imari White. And White is going to be 1 yard shy of the first down. Now 8 catches for White in 3 games without Cam Thomas. 3rd and 1.
This is where Locklear has been extremely dangerous. Those third downs that we showed earlier with the highlight reel of him coming back is where he's been very critical in helping keep the UTEP offense on the football field.
Reverse. Locklear trying to give a block to Kenny Odom. And that is another highlight play for Skylar Locklear, doing the dirty work to set up Odom for the first down.
He can run it, he can catch it, he can throw it, he can punt it, and now he can block it. Do everything that you can ask for and more. He might be the new Iron Man of the football team on this field right now.
Oh, it's not like UTEP wanted to play 3 different quarterbacks this season. 4 when you include Chase Smith in a package role, but they have had to because of injuries. Looks like Locklear is the guy. Javon Jackson, no doubt, their leading running back, and he just runs into a brick wall in William Wright.
Yeah, I got to take a look at this block once again. Jamad McCoy is out there on the island trying to set the edge, and Locklear says, hey, I need to make sure I get my guy free. Kenny Odom able to cut up inside, pick up a first down.
Now, if you're McCoy, you see the quarterback as a lead blocker, just trying to blow him up.
Oh, you got to take that. You got to take that. Do your job, but at the same time, you got to take that opportunity.
Don't get that shot often. Javon Jackson hit by William Wright. As Ricky Gibson, pardon correction there with the hit, forcing him out of bounds. And another third down coming up for the Miners offense. Out deep into the bag of tricks. And we see Scotty Walden go.
Well, we saw a screen play last time. They emptied the backfield. And, of course, third down is whenever the Tennessee rushers are taking the field. And if you get aggressive rushers, then you're typically going to see some sort of screen or quick game to counteract how good these Tennessee defensive linemen are at rushing the passer.
Four-man rush, pressure inside. Locklear throwing across his body. It's gonna be close. The initial spot looks like Kenny Odom picked up the first down, and that is back-to-back third down convergence by Kenny Odom, 7 yards.
Yeah, Locklear's original read was not there. He creates a little bit more time by moving to the right within the pocket to allow Odom a chance to cross in front of the defender's face, delivers a strike, and then Odom does the rest to pick up a first down. That's 2 first downs with the Locklear to Odom connection.
Locklear is hit, and the throw sails over the head of Jackson. No flag on the hit. Jeremiah Thielander was there to deliver the blow. Now, this is a UTEP team coming off a bye week. Or in the words of the coaching staff, opportunity week.
Yep.
Opportunity for them to come up with more wrinkles for this game. They know they can't play Tennessee straight up and have a chance.
Well, you talked about the number of quarterbacks that the Miners have already utilized. I think you forgot one, because Trey Goodman has thrown the ball several times as well, and those are the types of wrinkles whenever you have extra time, you're able to create plays that work well. 7
different players have actually attempted a pass for UTEP this season. That is wild. Locklear hit again, complete to Trey Goodman. Ball is out. Tennessee thinks they have it. Dominic Bailey recovers for the Vols defense.
It's another senior getting a chance to make his impact on the play, and one-on-one.
Rolling on the field, it's a completed catch followed by a fumble, recovered by the defense. First down.
And Will Brooks provides the pressure. Ricky Gibson one-on-one, instead of just settling for the tackle, provides the strip attack that knocks the ball loose. And then a senior, Dominic Bailey, drops on top of it, and you see Ricky Gibson secure the tackle and then forces the ball out. It's what you want from a young guy playing corner at a high level.
They are bad dudes.
Yeah.
Gibson and McCoy, as good as it gets there. And Scotty Walden, he's saying, my guy was down. You saw the replays. Clearly that ball was out. Ball started moving as he started falling to the ground. No doubt about that one.
And Scotty's probably arguing about his forward progress being stopped rather than if the ball was out. Now, I think that was a live fumble, and Tennessee has the football.
Vols now will try to cash in. Nico off the play action. Open receiver. Hauled in. Mike Matthews down to the 10-yard line. And the 4th catch of the season for the freshman out of Georgia. Give him 26.
They waking up now. Nico finds his guy, moving quickly, setting the ball, and we'll see if Dylan Sampson has a chance to leave his mark in this game again.
Sampson showing the patience to come back. Nearly got it. The flag is down as Sampson was dropped at the 5-yard line.
And we'll see what the flag is, but Dylan Sampson was that close from inching through that tackle and reaching pay dirt yet again.
There is no foul for holding. It's second down.
5-yard pickup for Dylan Sampson. He has been the red zone answer thus far.
I wouldn't be surprised to see this Tennessee offense go right back to him the way that they ran the ball effectively last drive and then that last pickup there. And knowing the implications of what a touchdown could mean for Dylan Sampson's career and what he's been able to put together for this season so far.
Nico to throw on the run. Touchdown! Mike Matthews finding pay dirt for the 2nd time this season. And Tennessee cashes in off the forced
pass
fumble.
interference. Offense, number 19. 14-yard penalty. It's still second down.
Hold that thought. PI called on the tight end. Holden stays.
Yeah, in order to create that natural separation that got Mike Matthews the opportunity to be free at the front pylon, Holden stays, just inexplicably puts his hands out and hits the defender as they're trying to run with Mike Matthews in man-to-man coverage, and that's a mistake that you cannot have, especially down in the red zone, and forces your offense now trying to convert on second and goal from the 20-yard line.
And that's an easy call to make there. Well, pushes it back to the 20. Nico gets a block from Dylan Sampson and takes it to the 10-yard line. Landon Hullaby brings down the freshman quarterback. You made the comment that Iamaleava is a lot thicker than you anticipated seeing him in person.
Yeah, when you see him on film, he looks like he's a skinny individual, but he's not skinny at all. He's just long and lanky, 6'6", full frame, 215 he's listed at, but he's a little bit bigger than 215, but he is all muscle, and he's able to utilize that weight and muscle to his advantage.
3rd and 7 after the 12 yards. Scamper. Screen. Getting a block is Squirrel White. And Squirrel White is in. Volunteers can't deny him this time.
And phenomenal execution by the Vols offense, overcoming the penalty of the offensive pass interference, doing a quick flash fake to Dylan Sampson to get the eyes of the defense to focus on the interior side of the ball. And then Nico flips it out to Squirrel White with numbers as well as leverage. Squirrel White does the West, finds pay dirt there for the Vols, and sets up their second score in this game.
Yeah, second quarter treating the Vols much better than that sluggish start in the first 15. And officiating crew just trying to make sure that Squirrel White did indeed find the end zone. The knee is still up, and it looks like that is a touchdown. And it is. Max Gilbert on for the extra point to make it 14-0. And that is how you turn defense into offense. Ricky Gibson III with the grip and rip, and then Squirrel White took it from there.
Yeah, that's complimentary football. You see the rip and the rake. Dominic Bailey recovers, and then ultimately the offense is able to take advantage of the sudden change. Ball's up 14-0 in Knoxville.
Let's fire up the All-State Playoff Predictor to help us figure out who is going from the Southeastern Conference to the College Football Playoff. Texas has the best percentage shot at 93%, followed by Georgia. But really the two teams that are in control, the team on the left and far right, Texas and Texas A&M. If either one of those teams wins their remaining games, that would put them in the College Football Playoff, because that would put them in the SEC Championship. And the winner of that championship automatically is in the 12-team field. Tennessee needs a ton of help to get to the SEC Championship game, but still plenty of pass for them to be among the at-large teams selected into the field of 12. But what's going to be absurd to me is if we end up with a situation with as many as 6 teams in the SEC with 2 conference losses, and the committee rewards one of those teams for going to the SEC Championship and losing, which would be a 3rd loss. How can you do that when the team that makes the SEC Championship is likely going via a tiebreaker? That does not make sense to me, Fozzie.
Yeah, trying to figure out what the committee thinks about and how they value things is definitely above my pay grade. I'll take the Josh Heupel approach. Control what I can control.
We don't
and then
pay
let
you for that. Come on, man.
Handle itself.
You're supposed to be the guy that lets it fly.
Tell them put me on the committee.
Get a lapel pin for that. I think that would be a welcome change. Locklear will swing it out, pressure in his face, and this is Kenny Odom. And Odom will be dropped for a loss of 2 by Andre Turrentine. former Ohio State Buckeye. And the Buckeyes, by the way, putting it on Indiana right now.
Yeah,
21-7. That's another scenario where the playoff predictor is saying that even with the loss, Indiana is a shoo-in. I'm not so sure. They get throttled by Ohio State, even if it is one loss. With their strength of schedule, how can they go in and you leave a team like Tennessee out? Short completion to Amari White, turn time with back-to-back stops. You feel me on that?
Absolutely. At the end of the day, the strength of schedule has to matter. The games that you win also have to matter. And I think that's of major importance, especially in a conference like the SEC.
This is where the Miners have been most creative on third down. For 7 so far today. Locklear. That's going to be broken up, trying to get it to Trey Goodman, but McCoy was there. So it's the Gibson and McCoy show right now in the backfield for Tennessee.
Yeah, surprisingly, the UTEP offensive line and tight end held up in protection, gave Locklear all the time that he needed. Unfortunately, Jamad McCoy is the guy that he decided to throw it on, ended up in an incomplete pass because of the coverage skills being so good by these two cover corners.
In the 3 years prior to this, Tennessee had at least one kick or punt return for a touchdown. They have not had one this season. UTEP has struggled mightily here, but Boo Carter will not even have a shot because of that punt. That was a shankopotamus. So great field position for the Vols. They'll try to make it 3 straight touchdown drives when we return. Must-win game for Tennessee here on Rocky Top. They picked it up here in the second quarter, putting up 14 on UTEP. Let's check in with Maryland.
Nico Iamaleava is back on the field after dealing with a bit of a nuisance on the sideline. He has a cut in either the right side of his mouth or on his tongue, received significant attention from the medical team, and looked at his teammates, just said it doesn't feel right. It's annoying. He rinsed his mouth out several times and used gauze to wipe blood off of his mouth and out of the inside. So he's in a different situation internally as he retakes the field here with the Vols up by 2 TDs.
Well, he's picked up his play on the field. He was sluggish to start. There were the 3 straight drives with punts and 1 first down, and it's been back-to-back touchdowns. Once again, great field position here for Nico to go to work. With the gash in his cheek or tongue and all. Peyton Lewis is his running back, and Lewis, the freshman, gets the carry. Man. What impresses me about him is you read his bio, he's a track guy, and this echoes what we've heard from Josh Heupel. He likes contact. He says that he's modeled his game after Earl Campbell. You're not a track guy if you model your game after him. And it's very close. The Chapman being offsides, he was able to recover before the snap. 2nd and 1 here. Nico to throw. Brew McCoy, great hands. Went up and got it, first down. And they're not booing, they're brewing. And flags are down late.
And I'm not sure what the flag was for there. It came in late. Maybe hands to the face.
Pass interference, offense, number 3, 15-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
That's the 2nd one in back-to-back drives. Offensive PI. This time it's on Squirrel White.
Yeah, and if you're throwing a screen pass and it's beyond the line of scrimmage, then you can't have a blocker blocking for an individual past the line of scrimmage. And I think that pass was right beyond the line of scrimmage, if I had to guess.
Until the ball is caught.
Until the ball is caught, correct.
So now you have White and McCoy stacked on the left side, back to the ground game, and UTEP will allow a 3-yard pickup. Dorian Hopkins with the stop there.
And in the heart of this UTEP defense, between Hopkins and Diamond, these 2 guys are absolute tackling machines. Came into this game both having 73 tackles apiece, 8 TFLs, 7 TFLs, very similar in stats in their impact on what they are as a UTEP Miners defense.
Tennessee 205 on third down thus far. Three-man rush. Nika with plenty of time, surveys the field. Ball is out, but it's incomplete to Peyton Lewis.
That's where that penalty comes back to haunt you. So they picked up some good positive first down yardage before the penalty was called on Squirrel White. Get pushed back in 2 plays that result in a small short gain and then an incomplete pass. Forces another punt opportunity for the Tennessee offense.
3 and outs for the Vols, uncharacteristic for them. First halves have not been great, especially lately once they got into SEC play. Non-conference, they were just smoking everybody. This is a majestic touch down at the 2-yard line. And that's not the spot that you want to be in if you're Skylar Locklear. Fine job there by Jackson Ross to the coverage team.
Yeah, and Jalen McMurray does a great job as a special teams guy myself, being able to put his heels on the goal line, then keeping the ball in front and then downing it at the 2-yard line.
Speaking of special teams, you made the Jumbotron here inside Neyland.
Yeah, that was unfortunate because it was not a special teams play that I was on there for. Our offense in Carolina threw an interception, and Eric Berry was the guy that picked it off against the Chiefs, and he was returning for a touchdown. I did not make that tackle that day.
You tried, though.
I tried. Valiant effort.
From the 3. And working on the ground, and Joshua Dye, his first carry, will help get a little bit more out of harm's way with the 3-yard pickup. How does field position right here affect play calling?
Well, ultimately, you got to maintain not taking a safety and taking care of the football. So you got to call safer plays in order that if there's a fumble or a juggling of the snap, you're not putting yourself in a safety position off of the grip.
Yeah, just playing it safe, trying to find some semblance of daylight to the left side. Dye struggles to get a yard. And sound the alarm, it's third down. And if you take an uncomfortable position to begin with, 3rd and long against the Tennessee defense, this has to be like something you face on Fear Factor back in the day. You don't want none of this backed up here inside Neyland.
Again, with the way they've played conservatively on those first 2 plays, expect something, either a quick pass, a screen, something that allows them to get the ball out quickly and not have Skylar Locklear holding on to the ball in the shadows of his own end zone.
Locklear to throw, and there is a whistle, a flag down before the snap. They blew it dead.
Timeout, Tennessee, their second of the half.
Seems
30
like
seconds and
second timeout called by the Tennessee defense, by Tim Banks and his crew. Just something not right in terms of personnel on the field.
So part of it is personnel. The other part of it is 3 minutes left also in the half. Getting the ball back and maintain as much clock as possible to be able to try to put together a scoring drive could be the other thought process of what Coach Heupel and Coach Banks are looking to get accomplished.
Coach Banks has done a phenomenal job since arriving here in Knoxville. You know, at the very beginning when Josh Heupel got here, Tennessee was just an offensive team. That was really kind of the label. But recently, especially this season, the conversation with the Volunteers begins with what Banks has done with this defense.
Absolutely, and whenever you have a first-time starter at the quarterback position, playing complementary football has been the keys to success whenever Tennessee's played at an elite level this year.
Tim Banks, his defense has just allowed 1 play of 50+ this season. Tied for the fewest in the FBS. What do you got here on 3rd and 6? Oda motions to the slot. Locklear back to the middle of the field, and it was dropped. It would have been a first down pickup, but Trey Goodman straight up dropped it. It's easy to say up here, but with those DBs that like to hit for the balls, not a comfortable spot to be in.
Well, not to mention he already had the unfavorable play that got the ball to the Vols the last time whenever Ricky Gibson ripped it out. So being able to have the wherewithal and try to have a short-term memory is going to be key for Trey Goodman, who's been a pivotal part of their offensive success so far.
Bowman shanked one in his last attempt. This end over end. Will there be a chance for Boone? And there is. Shifting through one tackle to the 20. Sidestepping. Still up. Is the ball out?
No, he's still going.
Relentless effort from Orlando Carter. Everybody calls him Boo. And there is a Tennessee player down. It is Jordan Ross.
You hope Jordan Ross is doing okay as he's getting medical attention, currently being looked at on the football field.
So Ross, freshman out of Alabama. He has been an emerging star on special teams for Tennessee. And Tennessee has a lot of players in this program that are following really the path that Jordan Ross is following in terms of getting their start on special teams, biding their time, and then developing into stars. And Ross certainly has that type of upside.
And being able to hear Coach Heupel in our meetings yesterday mention it's probably the healthiest that they've been going into a game this season. And it's just unfortunate you have this injury. And we heard from Maryland about the way Nico has been impacted with the mouth or the chin. I mean, you got to be very careful, hopefully trying to come out with the least amount of injuries as possible, no matter what game that it is, especially late in the season.
Yeah, very rare, though, for an SEC team to be this healthy at this point of the year. Main injury that we talked about earlier is Keenan Peely, outstanding linebacker that walked here on senior day. But Jordan Ross, a key piece for this Tennessee special teams and defensive unit. But after that return from Boo, it will be Tennessee football in UTEP territory for the 4th straight drive, starting on the plus side of the field. 2:40 to go. Still got the 2-minute timeout. And Tennessee and UTEP each have a timeout in their back pocket. Nico on the seam to Ethan Davis, the tight end, down to the 1-yard line. 18-yard pickup on the 11th catch of the season for Ethan Davis. Vols want to go fast. Pulls it from Sampson and cashes in with Ethan Davis. You set up the touchdown, you get the touchdown. And how about it, Ethan Davis? He's been working on that dance for a little while. Touchdown number 2 for the redshirt freshman.
And the celebration ensues for Ethan Davis. And you talked earlier about how field position can be impacted with UTEP being backed up in their own end zone. Well, the bad punt and the great return by Boo Carter sets up the 2-play scoring drive for Tennessee to take advantage of deep in UTEP territory.
That's Gilbert for the extra point. And a 2-play 19-yard drive set up by backing up UTEP, getting that 3 and out, getting the Boo Carter return, and then working it to the tight end.
Yeah, that's the same throw that Nico started the game off with. He was a little behind on Squirrel White. Well, now he has it figured out. Ethan Davis was the recipient of that first pass, and then the second pass, being able to use Dylan Sampson on the fake, slip Ethan Davis out into the front pylon, and he outflanks the defense and puts up another 6 points for Tennessee.
And another injured Tennessee Volunteer player. Cannot locate the number from this vantage point.
'79.
Shamarad Umarov, offensive lineman, is being checked out. Another freshman. And a hulking figure at 6'7", 330.
He's a big fellow. A lot of times you get into those extra point scenarios, it's a lot of mass down there, not just on the offensive side of the ball, but on the defensive side of the ball as well, as multiple defensive linemen are in there to create a push to help block a kick. And man, I'm actually surprised there aren't more injuries on extra points and field goals, just from the sheer amount of mass of people that fall on top of each other in those special team plays.
One thing I think fans would be blown away about if they had the opportunity to watch the game from the field like we do from time to time, is how large and fast all of these players are and how violent almost all of the collisions are. It is shocking that there aren't more injuries with the level of athletes that are playing, especially in the conference like the SEC.
Yeah. You can see Umarov on his way up and slight limp off of the field, but being able to walk under his own power is definitely a better sign than if he had to get carried off.
And you can tell Josh Heupel loves these players. They love him back. An emotional day for him with this being senior day, but he's really had to separate the emotions from just getting the job done. You want to honor the seniors, but also figure out just how to win the game, how to send that statement to the committee as well. I even asked him, you know, if this game gets out of hand late in the game, do you have some seniors that you would like to work into the game? And he was flat out honest and said, I haven't even got that far. And it was from the mentality of, we just need to win the game, period. That's it.
Yeah, mission statement, laser focus. Like I talked about with the Halo Spartan program, Master Chief is Josh Heupel.
Don't know who that is. I know who Heupel is, of course. Marquez Taylor taking the knee. I don't know if you have enough time to explain all that.
Maybe on the 2-minute timeout, I got a chance to school you on what Halo's all about.
Hey, but this is special. Longtime college football fan like yourself, to be in an environment like this, first time in Neyland, and to be around a coach that is a college football legend in Josh Heupel. What he did as a player at Oklahoma, coming out of nowhere to get the Sooners that national championship under Bob Stoops early in that run. That's a legend in the college football ranks and on his way to becoming that as a coach. Skylar Locklear back to work. Much better field position for him. Quick screen. And that is Amari White. And White with his 4th catch of the day. It's not much to work with there. That was Joshua Josephs with the stop. Just flat out speed on this Tennessee defense. That brings us to the 2-minute timeout.
The 2-minute timeout.
Up 21-0 here in Knoxville. Scotty Walden knows this place well. He was a head coach for 4 years at Austin Peay in Clarksville, just west of Nashville. Brought his Governors to this building last season. And they were not phased. They actually jumped out to an early lead. They got a field goal in the opening possession. Trey Goodman had that 52-yard touchdown for the Governors, now starting for the UTEP Miners. In the end, it was a little too much Tennessee as the Vols put it on at 30-13, but a lot of respect for what Scotty Walden has done. He was 33 years old at the time. Incredible. Now the second youngest head coach of the FBS, Kenny Dillingham at Arizona State, about half a year younger. Big catch to the 50 in a stiff arm, and still more work to do for Kenny Odom, who played in this building a season ago for the Governors. 33 yards. Scotty Walden, who calls the plays, draws up a beauty, and the Miners now getting it rolling. Locklear on the ground. Vincent gives him a block. And positive yardage on first down. That's the spark UTEP is looking for, Fozzie.
Yeah, the throw that Skylar Locklear just had on the previous play was a thing of absolute beauty. The best throw of the day, if you ask me, and helped result in putting them in good field position with a minute 35 left on the clock, trying to put points up before halftime.
And it looks like Amari Thomas is down with the Tennessee defense. Senior out of Memphis. One of the emotional leaders of this defense that means so much to his defensive coordinator, Tim Banks. Amari Thomas, guys like Elijah Simmons, in the words of Tim Banks, when everyone else was running out of here in Knoxville like the building was on fire, it was Thomas and Simmons that stayed. And the interesting part of this, a guy like Amari Thomas in some ways has played less the longer his career has gone on because of the amazing job Tennessee has done in building up depth along the defensive line.
Yep.
All right, so we got some developments that are both positive for Tennessee and their chances to make the college football playoff. Florida with a 17-14 lead over Ole Miss. If Florida wins, Tennessee, if they win this, would jump most likely into that playoff field. Also, Ohio State is pounding Indiana 28-7. If that keeps getting more and more out of hand, I cannot see how the committee keeps a team like Indiana with no marquee wins in that field of 12.
Yeah, they definitely move behind Tennessee if Tennessee takes care of business today. Florida with the surprise shocker right now.
But it's win, baby, win time for Tennessee. UTEP involves territory, pressure off the edge. Locklear feels it like a champ and will slide at the 32-yard line. Actually started that slide a little closer to the 33-yard line. It's where you start the slide, not where you end it. 3rd and 2 for Locklear and UTEP. This play was out of whack from the snap, and you will not get away from Jason Jenkins.
And Locklear doesn't appear to look like he's 100% healthy on that slide.
Yeah.
He seemed to land a little awkwardly. He couldn't get out of bounds either with only one timeout. That's something to keep a note on for this UTEP team that has feasted off of what Locklear has been able to provide in all phases of the game.
And Scotty Walden is probably talking to himself saying, can we get a break with injuries at the quarterback spot? Locklear suffered a concussion a few weeks ago, and that forced J.P. Pickles, the true freshman, into action for the first time as he made his first career start against Middle Tennessee, a game in which UTEP lost by 7 points. Again, 3 starting quarterbacks for the Miners this season, as that is Skylar Locklear. He had checked out on the UTEP bench. So it's going to be the freshman J.P. Pickles that checks in on this 4th down play.
This will probably be a quick punt again, similar to what we saw Locklear do.
Check with me.
Timeout. UTEP, their 30th final time. 30 seconds and length.
Takes their final timeout. What do you think? Is this more about what do we do now in terms of go for it or just straight up punt?
I think UTEP has to punt here without your starting quarterback and the number of opportunities that you've already given Tennessee on your side of the field over the past few possessions. I think you try to make Tennessee either drive the distance of the field or tell them, hey, we're going to pin you back, and hopefully they just run the clock out with only a timeout remaining to take it into halftime, recuperate, and see how do we come back in the second half to force the issue.
Well, the offense is back.
So forget what I just said.
Well, there's still time to change their mind. Pickles at quarterback. Give that coach the player communication through the headset. It will shut off with 15 seconds on the play clock, which is right now. Here's the snap. Pickles engulfed. James Pierce making the most of what will likely be his final game inside Neyland before hearing his name called very early in the NFL draft.
Well, again, that's the issue that I talked about. First off, it's fourth down. Nobody's expecting you to run the ball, so why even do a play action fake there? And then James Pierce one-on-one. He's just going to win every single time if you don't have chip help or somebody dedicated to blocking him with multiple people. And that's the impact that you're going to get. Now you turn the ball over, middle of the field, with Tennessee having an opportunity with a little over a minute left to put up one more score in this half.
That's a blow-by right there. James Pierce just let him have it. Number 14 overall draft prospect, according to Kuiper. Sampson lowering the shoulder, making his way to the 42-yard line. 7-yard pickup. Nico, comfortable in the pocket, complete to the tight end. Holden stays. 19-yard pickup. And in this new world of college football, having to impress the selection committee, there is never such thing as too much. Imaliava tripped up at the 30-yard line, and that is Nate Diamond. Not the most athletic dude, but a guy that is everywhere for the UTEP defense. Into the sack. Second down now. Hurry up mode. And Nico will clock it. And he is limping.
And that's not what you want to see. We talked about injuries being a focal point of how healthy they've been. And then up to this point, we've had multiple people injured for this Tennessee offense. I hope I wasn't the jinx. But ultimately, that's something that's impacted them. And it looks and appears maybe he stepped on as he's trying to escape in the pocket. And right there, right tackle, big Dane Davis brings that big 333-pound foot on Nico. And
back to work to the tight end, stays. His second catch of the drive. Clock will stop while the ball is spotted. It's not while the chains reset. It's for the ball to be spotted now. Imaliava to the end zone for Brew! And the Cookie Monster delivers! 17 yards for Brew McCoy, playing in his final game inside Neyland. And I told you this place would go bonkers for that first touchdown for Brew McCoy.
And you ask, what is brewing? Well, ultimately, it's a touchdown for the Tennessee Volunteers. And that man, Brew McCoy, who's gone through so much in his time in college and overcoming the adversity that he did a season ago. It's almost like, do you smell what the Rock is cooking?
Ooh, well, do you smell the cookies? Two reasons why Tennessee fans absolutely love the guy. Everything he's endured with the injury, coming back to be a star for this team, and his NIL deal. When Brew McCoy does that and finds the end zone, everybody's getting cookies. Maryland, what do you got?
His own mouth earlier and he said, keep looking at me always. Even if I'm hot, we've got to get you in the end zone today. Keep looking at me. We've got to. He did.
And that touchdown pass from Nico Iamaleava matches his career high. That's number 3. But this is about Brew McCoy. His career a long and winding road. Committed to USC, signed with Texas, almost immediately transferred back to USC, transfers to Tennessee, has a horrific injury in 2023, works his butt off to get back and to be a star for this Vols program. The fan base loves him. His coaching staff and the players love Brew McCoy.
Absolutely. He gives that type of presence, the way that he works, the attitude that he has. Whenever we talked about Josh Heupel, the maturity level that he's displayed as well. True leader for this Vols team, and being able to hit pay dirt for the first time this year, it just means that much more for him on senior day in Neyland Stadium.
Just an idea. You've got to impress the committee. You've got the NIL deal. You need to figure out that mailing address to reach the committee this week and send those cookies that way. It's not going to hurt, is it?
They can send them up to the booth as well.
Now. JP Pickles back in. Last time he was sacked by James Pierce. And on the ground to Jackson. Oh, weaving through traffic for the 5-yard pickup. It took Tennessee a little while to get going. Showed out in the first quarter. But they are hot now. 28 spot put up on UTEP in the second quarter. And trying to make sure that everybody notices. They are getting some help right now from Florida and from Ohio State. But the bottom line, Josh Heupel knew his team would have to do, take care of business. Here's Maryland with the Vols head coach.
When you receive the kickoff to open the second half, how do you ensure this offensive barrage continues?
Yeah, we started slow offensively. Need to come out and execute like we did here in the second quarter. Play all 3 phases together here for another 30 minutes.
Offensively, what changed to make this work?
Man, doing the ordinary at a really high level. That's it, man. 11 guys operating as one.
Thank you.
All right.
Maryland, thank you so much. And Fozzie, we see what Tennessee is capable of doing with an electric, destructive second quarter.
They can turn it on at any given moment. And we're talking about on the offensive and the defensive side of the ball. And Boo Carter adding in a little bit on the special teams. This Tennessee team is extreme.
Nico to Brew, that's a money connection, but actually the first time that connection has led to a touchdown all season for the Tennessee Volunteers. Welcome back to Knoxville. Laura Galindo here with Fozzie Whitaker. Look, it looked like Tennessee did not realize the gravity of the moment in the first quarter of this game. They realized they've got to win out to have a chance to make the college football playoff. It took them a while to get going, but the second quarter, 4 of the 5 drives lead to touchdowns. What was going on early with Tennessee? How'd they turn it around?
Yeah, early on it seemed as though they were pressing just a little bit. You saw Nico being a little bit off on his timing. The offense was not hitting their groove because Dylan Sampson wasn't being incorporated in the same way that we've seen him have the success earlier in the year. Once Dylan Sampson got going, that offense got going, and then the defense played complementary, being able to force 2 turnovers by their star shutdown corners, the interception by McCoy, and then the rip fumble by Gibson, being able to put offense Tennessee in good field position, and then Tennessee was able to capitalize off of that good field position. That's the Tennessee that we expected to see.
So let's get into what all of this means for Tennessee. To make the playoff field, they got to get out of the SEC.
Yep.
A conference that could go into the championship game with 6 teams with 2 losses. So what needs to happen? Well, Tennessee has to win out. So they got to win this game, got to beat Vanderbilt. Indiana helps with a big loss brewing against Ohio State. SEC carnage certainly would go a long ways. If Florida can pull off the upset against Ole Miss, if Tennessee wins this game, when we see the next bracket, Tennessee will be in the field of 12.
Yeah, and even just to update that now, Florida just scored another touchdown. Have now taken the lead whenever they were tied. 7 minutes left in that game. All eyes will be focused on what happens to Ole Miss if they do drop, which only helps the carnage and where Tennessee lands in the next rankings on Tuesday.
Because Josh Heupel and his program, they're going to have to make the field a 12 as an at-large team, because it is a 0.3% chance for Tennessee to reach the SEC championship game. There's so many layers to what needs to happen. It starts with Auburn, though. Auburn would have to win the next two, and that's Texas A&M and Alabama.
And the Iron Bowl.
And then everything else would also have to follow that to get Tennessee to Atlanta. But they are in good position right now. The resume is strong. They have the win against Alabama. But the huge thing here is if Florida beats Ole Miss at the moment, that would put Tennessee into the field of 12.
Absolutely, and Tennessee has to play like we saw them play in the second quarter.
Oh, yeah.
If they want to have themselves a chance at impressing the committee, because the start to the game in the first quarter was not impressive at all, and the committee would not be inclined to probably give them the same type of jump that Alabama was able to receive this week whenever the rankings were released Tuesday night.
And ultimately, we can talk about strength of schedule, strength of record. It's whatever the committee wants it to be. They can just pick their favorite team for what they like in terms of what they see on film and in live, and that's ultimately who's going to go to the college football playoff. Tennessee will start with the football. This is Peyton Lewis. He's got a chance. Rocked at the 32-yard line. Let's check in with Maryland.
UTEP head coach Scotty Walden said he told his team, let's go out and conquer the third quarter. We're playing really good football out here, but we can't get this back to an even ball game without taking it one step at a time. He did say that Skylar Locklear, they wanted to watch him warm up to start this second half, see how he feels. He was throwing longer passes as he prepared. We'll see if he takes the field. They said they'll monitor it, but they do hope, obviously, to allow him to continue to play this game.
Yeah, first quarter, it was Skylar Locklear that outperformed Nico Imaliava, but the freshman quarterback has picked it up. He's been brilliant from the second quarter on.
I think the implementation of Dylan Sampson has helped get him settled in this game, and he's hitting on all cylinders to finish off the second quarter in the first half.
And Sampson will open up with a carry, breaks through one ankle tackle, and takes it to the 46-yard line. Dylan Sampson is a bad dude. Even with the loss last week at Georgia, he became only the second running back to go over 100 yards against Georgia in the last 4 years. He sets up Nico to have success.
Absolutely, and you see that success play a pivotal role in where Nico started to where he's at currently.
Nico with the carry to the 41-man to beat. And Imaliava tries to lay the lumber into Lance Russell. And down to the 25-yard line for the freshman star.
And again, whenever you have a dynamic runner like Dylan Sampson, that opens up the quarterback keep game. In open field, that might need to be worked on a little bit by Nico. But
Dylan Sampson's turn, churning and burning inside the 15-yard line. But you gotta like, if you're surrounding that quarterback, to see your dude try to send the pop to the UTEP defense.
Absolutely. I'm sure Josh Heupel is like, hey, just go out of bounds.
Yeah, it's different for the quarterback and the coach relationship. I'm talking about his brothers on the field right now.
Brothers on the field definitely enjoyed that.
They got a flag down.
Be offsides on the defense.
Offside defense, number 90. Enter the penalty. Still first down.
So Sampson, 11 carries, 77 yards. Imaliava, 5 carries for 30.
And every play on this drive so far has been a run play, and they've had tremendous success.
Imaliava to the end zone. Tennessee touchdown. Make it 2 for Brew.
Do you smell what Brew is cooking?
Cookies!
Cooking up cookies, baby. Double the pot now. 2 touchdowns in the end zone.
I don't know if that's the way the NIL deal works. I don't know if you get seconds.
That's true. I'll take seconds regardless. But at the end of the day, Brew McCoy, another opportunity. RPO, the run was so effective that drive. Being able to create separation on the slant route. Nico hits him right in stride.
That happens quickly when you're taking on Tennessee. 3 straight punts to open the game, and it's now 5 touchdown drives in the last 6 chances.
And you see the one-on-one opportunity look there. Tennessee is the highest play action team because of how effective they're able to run it. And then whenever you get guys like Brew McCoy one-on-one on an island, typically they come out on top. And Brew McCoy able to pick up a big touchdown catch for his second of the game.
You mentioned the play action. No one runs more play action than Tennessee, and it's not even close. But why? Because they have the running back to set up that type of success.
Yeah, we see Dylan Sampson getting it done on the ground game, getting it done through the air, providing that initial spark, breaking tackles left and right to be able to help set up this Vols offense and be able to get Nico settled in.
35-0. Tennessee trying to make sure that the selection committee takes notice. If they liked what Alabama did last week against FCS Mercer, they're going to put it on the committee to respect what they are doing to an FBS opponent in UTEP. Who comes out at quarterback here for UTEP? It was Pickles to end the first half, and it's back to the starter, Skylar Locklear. So this is a positive development for UTEP. Saw him a little health scare after he went down awkwardly with the slide. Could not tell if they were checking out lower leg or his head, but he is in there ready to rock and roll. Tight end Vincent in motion. Jackson will take the carry, running to that side, and denied by Bryson Eason. One of the plethora of big bodies inside that Tennessee defensive line. They'll rotate 12 defensive linemen, and they're all good.
Being able to have the depth that they have is extremely impressive. And then maintaining the level of success as each rotation goes in there to create the plays and the havoc plays that this defense is known for having. That's truly immaculate by Tim Banks and this defensive staff.
Locklear flushed, eyes downfield, tough throw. Closest man there was Kenny Odom, incomplete. And it's not just size, it's athletic size.
Yeah.
Bryson Easton was recruited as a linebacker, kept that weight, but kept the athleticism, and now he's on the interior of this defensive line.
It's that part of the Brew McCoy cookie deal that allowed him to put on the weight, and it's healthy weight. Like, this is a guy that can move.
Hey, he
has the skill set of the linebacker position as far as how he moves and the athleticism, the quickness, the quick twitch ability he's able to rely and depend on. That's resulted in success for this Tennessee defense.
James Pierce trying to get there off the edge. Second effort, he will! What a play by James Pierce! Didn't get him the first time, but the second time he nails him. And that is why the NFL is salivating over the junior out of Charlotte, North Carolina. It's not just athleticism, it's the motor as well, Fozzie.
Yeah, the motor never stops. And being able to escape him once, Skylar Locklear was able to come out with something, but you can't do it a second time, and sets up 4th and 10 now with James Pierce on that stop.
Adam Jacklin to punt. Boo Carter, will he get another chance? He will. Carter muffed it, but recovers immediately.
And here's James Pierce being able to showcase why he's one of the best linemen in the country and a top draft pick. Just doesn't stop. That motor keeps going, helping lead that Tennessee defense.
We want to say congratulations to Bob Kessling, the voice of Tennessee Volunteers, for an amazing run. 25th season as the voice of the Vols. This is his final game inside Neyland Stadium. He's set to retire after the men's basketball season. Started as a voice for Tennessee football in 1999, coming off that 98 championship season with Team Martin. Before that, longtime voice for Vols women's basketball with Pat Summitt. Legendary run there, so congratulations to Bob and everything he means to Tennessee. Iamaleava is going to pick up 5 yards on first down. And that is iconic territory. When you're surrounded by a program like this for that long, for a lot of people that have grown up around Tennessee football, you are the voice of moments like this. Sampson bouncing outside, cutting back inside, still fighting to the 10-yard line. Flag is down, 36 yards if it stands.
You can see why Dylan Sampson is the best running back in the SEC Conference.
Holding offense, number 19, 10-yard penalty.
And that's going to go against the tight end. Holden stays.
You can hear the displeasure from the crowd. What wipes out an explosive run by Dylan Sampson, who's been doing this all season long. It's unfortunate that his best run of the day gets called back because of that dynamic, play-powering, possessive type of skill that he possesses. He's just a different type of player, man.
So send it back to 2nd and 13. Sampson trying to become the first Tennessee player to lead the conference in rushing since Travis Stevens back in 2001. Swing pass to Squirrel White. He can make you miss, among the best in college football. Corey Chapman makes a stop. You know, it actually is a Tennessee offense where the receivers don't have a lot of evaded tackles, not a lot of contested catches. Part of the reason is they're among the best in college football at wide open targets, meaning there are not defenders within a few yards of a target on the pass play. That's play calling that gets you into situations like that. Iamaleava feels the pressure, flushed, and is dropped hard. That was a violent tackle on Nico Iamaleava. Maurice Westmoreland brings him down.
Yeah,
he just went down hard.
That was a forceful hit there. Nico looks at his first option, second option, man-to-man, has to hang on to the ball a little bit more. And Westmoreland says, you hold on to it, I'm going to attack. And he has a forceful tackle there to end that play and the drive for the Tennessee Volunteers offense.
Looked like Iamaleava lost his footing as Westmoreland was making the tackle that made his fall to the turf that much more violent. And we got a flag down. Jackson Ross was hit by Judah Ezenwa. And if it's roughing, we got a first down for the Tennessee Volunteers. It was actually Jalen Jones.
It appears they're calling running into the kicker, which would be a 5-yard penalty. And Jones is getting an earful by Coach Scotty Walden.
It's a positive earful for Scotty Walden, and you've seen this
running into the kicker. Defense, that penalty is declined. First down.
So not roughing, it's a 5-yard variety. But we saw Scotty Walden even in the last game where they had a 4th down mishap, as we see look at the running into there from Jones. You like the call?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely running into the kicker. That's inexcusable from a special teams perspective. You have to change your point of attack on the angle. He wasn't going to get there to block it, so you might as well either peel off, get out of the way, or start going down to help your teammates recover.
But going back to Walden's coaching style, he pulled over Shea Smith after he did not get in the end zone on a 4th and goal situation from the 1 and immediately talked to him. But it was a conversation fueled by positivity, and Walden's point is you don't get opportunities to coach in the moment too often. So when you do, you got to be positive to allow that moment to truly stick. Pickles back in at quarterback. A long run for Kenny Odom from one side of the field to the next. Pickles with the flag down to Odom, and Odom fighting to get out of the end zone. He does barely. Let's see what this flag is all about.
And you see it's against.
Illegal motion offense, number 6, was moving towards the line of scrimmage. That penalty's declined. Second down.
So on that motion, Kenny Odom, CFL style, started getting vertical too quick.
Yeah, and that could be whenever you have your second quarterback in, a lot of times not allowing him to get set can actually result in him moving forward as he's trying to get a line for the play call.
Tough spot to be in. Freshman quarterback, freshman running back, backed up at the 2. Pickles to throw across the middle, incomplete to Kenny Odom. 7-yard pickup. A little more room to breathe here on third down. But last time there was this situation. James Pierce went and got Skylar Locklear. Pierce not on the field, so it's going to be up to 19 Joshua Josephs to try to get the edge for the Tennessee defense. Pickles broken up, low throw. Jermon McCoy in coverage. Looking for Amari White. That's going to be a 3-and-out forced by the Tennessee Volunteers defense.
Yeah, Amari White just not having an opportunity to create separation from McCoy. McCoy sticking on him like the white on rice, and there's no opportunity for him to be able to create that separation and pick up a first down or even possess the ball on a catch opportunity.
At some point, Boo Carter is going to bust one here. Kennesaw State had a couple of fantastic returns against UTEP a couple of weeks ago and really struggled in this department. To Carter at the 45, there's one miss. Out to the 35, shaking to the outside, showing some speed, high stepping, cutting at the 10, and a flag is down. But it is electric every time Boo Carter touches the football. Just getting started in his Tennessee career. They know this is a budding star.
Yeah, he's definitely electric, and we'll see what this call does to the return. With a lot of times, whenever a flag is thrown kind of at the line of scrimmage, it's typically on the punt team. And if it's thrown further down the field, a lot of times it's on the return team. So we'll see what the referees saw and why the flag may have been thrown. But Boo Carter is absolutely electric and provides that each and every time he steps on the football field.
Bring some of that D. Williams juice.
There are 2 live ball fouls by the kicking team. Illegal numbering by the kicking team. There are 2 number 21s on at the time of the play. Illegal formation, kicking team, more than 5 in the backfield. 5 or more in the backfield, excuse me. Add half the distance to the goal, first down.
So too many number 21s and then too many dudes in the backfield. I get that right?
You got it right.
And that is a career best 38-yard return for Boo Carter. Man, the guy's got juice, he's got energy, and coaches will tell you confidence is building with every return, every defensive rep. And what he's got flash and style that you want in a punt return.
Well, absolutely. You see, you make the first guy miss, and then has the speed to be able to get there, does a little dead leg, and then provides kind of a running back mentality by not going down even whenever contact is imminent. And that's what you got to have if you want to be a great punt returner. And Boo Carter absolutely possesses that same skill set that we've seen some of the best do it.
One knock on the Tennessee offense, struggling inside the 20. That has not been the case here this afternoon. Every time in the red zone, they've cashed in. Thornton in motion. On the ground to the freshman, Peyton Lewis. Pay dirt. The onslaught continues for the Vols.
Now this is the second time that Boo Carter has been able to set up a touchdown scoring drive off of an electric return. And that's how you play complementary football. Josh Heupel said it at the halftime, how all three phases needed to come together. We're seeing those three phases come together. Mash mode by the offensive line, pushing everyone down. Peyton Lewis, the vision, and touchdown for the Tennessee Volunteers. We'll take another look at how Peyton Lewis got free. And you can see there, you got Campbell and Spraggins on that right side, forcing it down. Peyton Lewis, pay dirt. Tennessee up big. And welcome back in to Neyland Stadium. Sitting aside of Rocky Top, the defense has been able to make their presence felt, forcing turnover after turnover by your two standout corners, but then also having the seniors having their presence felt in James Pierce Jr. on the sack, as well as the run down to create a fourth down opportunity. The offense has picked it up, but the defense has been on one, being able to hold UTEP out of the end zone, but at the same time force those turnovers and bring some big plays.
It has not been close. The last three meetings, Tennessee outscoring UTEP, as you would imagine, 121-0. This is one of the hallmarks of a Josh Heupel coach team. If it's a non-conference opponent, they're going to destroy you, just mollywop you. And they've historically done that. It's following that trajectory so far here today. UTEP football, and I'm just going to say, we like the eyes on our broadcast right now. But Tennessee fans, if you got a second screen, if you've just got a moment to flip over, need to be watching ABC. Just need to be checking out what's going on ABC right now.
Some good stuff happening, especially if you're a Tennessee fan.
And the game on ABC, Florida and Ole Miss, with the Gators holding on to a 24-17 lead. But Ole Miss driving. Tennessee doing their part, taking care of business here. Looking the part up 42-0 on a UTEP team with 2 wins, those coming over the last 4 games. Miners on the ground, and Joshua Dye is undercut, a pickup of 9 yards. UTEP wants to go fast. They mimic their game after what Tennessee does. Wide splits, fast tempo, in and out for Trey Goodman. That's a first down.
The RPO is a vital part of UTEP's success as well. Fake to the running back, hitting Goodman on the slant. Pick up the first down of the drive.
Low snap for Pickles. Rifles over the middle, but behind Kenny Odom. Incomplete. Say this for the 12-team playoff. It brings an increased amount of significance on a game like this. In years past, if you're ranked number 11 and you got a non-conference opponent at home, the game doesn't mean all that much. But now, if you're outside looking in like Tennessee is, this game is monumental. 12 teams in has changed what late season football truly means.
Absolutely. And I think it's for the better of college football.
Absolutely.
Legal snap. Offense, number 50. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Because if it's the old format, Tennessee fans come into this game, they're just here to see their boys one more time, celebrate senior day. There's really no shot that they're getting into a 4-team playoff. But now, completely different story. Ranked number 11, they're the first team out because teams ranked below them in Boise State and BYU would get in this scenario automatically as conference champs.
Please reset the game clock to 7:32. 7:32. Clock will start on the snap.
And this thing is going to come down to the wire in terms of who gets in. And feelings will still be hurt. I think most people thought that once you got to teams 11, 12, 13, it would be a little easier to pick who's in, who's out. Wouldn't be as many hurt feelings. That's not the case. Pickles to throw. Sideline complete for Amari White. Third down.
And again, the success of this Tennessee defense has always revolved around what they've been able to do on third down. If they can do it yet again, there'll be reason to celebrate not only in this game, but some updates that's happening across the country as well.
We're about to tell you what just went down in Gainesville. Third down. Pickles pressure. Rolls out. Has a lane. Will throw on the run. Complete. Grown man catch by Trey Goodman. 20-yard pickup.
That's a play by Pickles, who hasn't even been playing the entire game. Escapes the pressure out of the pocket, going the opposite direction. Throws the ball on the money. Trey Goodman catches the contested catch. Picks up a big first down. And what a play by J.D. Pickles.
On the ground. And the run stop made by Boo Carter. They love what he can do defensively as well. Locking down that starting spot in the star position. And they've really challenged Carter to do a better job of getting off blocks on the perimeter to be able to make plays like that.
Yeah, being able to make those plays is going to be critical, as J.P. Pickles showed you some of the playmaking abilities that he's able to put together. But ultimately, it's still a lopsided effort by the UTEP Miners right now in the third quarter.
Bryson Eason is the Tennessee Volunteer that's being checked out. We'll take a break. Then maybe we got an update from Gainesville when we return. This is what playoff football is all about. It's really started now. Why the Gator jump inside Neyland? Because Florida has just handed Ole Miss its third loss of the season. That opens the door for Tennessee to move from the first team out into the field of 12 for the college football playoff.
It's a big implication.
Just showed it on the big screen here, and the fans went nuts. Started seeing people that were watching on the app breaking out the Gator chomp. Some of the fans looking left and right. Why are you doing that? Then they showed it on the big screen, and it now makes sense. So close to a perfect day for Tennessee football. Pierce nearly got him, and Pickles is able to throw it away on second down. But we're going to have a lot of that across stadiums for the next week and a half.
Yes.
I mean, it is all about not just what you do on the field. Was it enough to impress the committee? And what did your competition do in their game? Scoreboard watching. Love it.
You're talking about scoreboard watching. They need to be watching out for that man there, number 27, making sure he doesn't continue to wreak havoc if you're a UTEP Miner.
Pickles looking right, rolls left. Has an edge. First down pickup right over the SEC logo and down inside the 35-yard line. 25-yard line, check that. 13-yard pickup for Pickles.
Yeah, J.P. Pickles provided a spark for this team. Can he find a way to find the end zone or at least put them in field goal position?
Getting tricky again. Off the end around, Kenny Odom. And Odom will not outflank the Tennessee defense. Jalen Smith making the stop.
That team speed by this defense. You see the reverse, flipping it out to Odom. They had success early in the first half, picking up a first down with the reverse this time. Tennessee is having none of it, using that great team speed on the defensive side of the ball to shut that trick play down.
JP Pickles, tunnel screen to Odom, and there's Pierce making the stop. That's a TFL.
It's not many times you see a screen result in a TFL if you're talking about from the wide receiver position.
When you can move like that, though, I mean, he is wreaking havoc all over the field. And to those that just look at the stats and say Pierce is having a down year, watch the film.
Yeah.
Watch the film and you realize that is not the case.
And see how many other players on the defensive line benefit from what James Pierce does.
Pickles is not going to get away from Pierce. Make it another. James Pierce writing what is likely the final chapter of his Tennessee career inside Neyland. Gets the sack. He is favoring his arm coming off the field.
Yeah, you can see the one-on-one. There's no reason to leave a guy on the island against a guy like James Pierce Jr.
Hold on now. He looked to see if the ball was thrown
while still holding JP
and then
Pickles.
refocused and brought him down.
That's impressive. I don't think I've ever seen anybody do that in football. And you talk about creating havoc and wreaking havoc on opposing offenses. That's what James Pierce Jr. does.
Fabiano on for the field goal attempt. The doink, no good. A 53-yarder hits the left upright. So the shutout is intact for Tennessee. Moment of concern, though. James Pierce, we mentioned he was favoring one of his arms coming off the field after this stop.
Yeah, you see he grabs JP Pickles and has a collision while still maintaining JP Pickles. He says, let me check to see if something happens. And he's tapping his head because he's still an absolute dog. Even with one hand, he's able to take care of opposing offenses, and it's still an area of concern, especially for the remainder part of the season and postseason implications. Having James Pierce available and healthy is obviously the best case action for this Tennessee defense. 2 sacks
for one of the most feared pass rushers in America. Imaliava looking for Dante Thornton, and it's dropped. Thornton break off the big one, leads the FBS with 25 yards per catch. And he does that actually with limited touches. So he's got the most receiving yards on the team, but not nearly the touches the other targets have. And that is Peyton Lewis, looking a little bit like the guy he watched growing up, Earl Campbell, with a rumble stumble for 14 yards.
Yeah, well, this is a true freshman, 210 pounds. He brings and delivers each blow every time he gets the opportunity to.
Play action, there's Thornton. Takes 2 minors to bring him down. He breaks the 40. And this is the tempo that Tennessee loves. What most defenses fear. It's the tempo and wide splits that led the OC, Joey Halsley, to tell us they never see a base defense. Imaliava wide open. He's got his tight end, Kitzelman. And Kitzelman takes it down to the 15-yard line. Why doesn't this offense get base looks?
Well, ultimately, trying to scheme up what they do is so hard because they put you in all of these strange types of formations with the wide splits. You open up the inside run game, and with the best running back in the SEC conference, it's hard to be able to
Timeout.
protect.
UTEP. They're first of the half.
We alluded
30 seconds
to
in
this off the top of the show that if Tennessee had the opportunity to bury UTEP, they would. And it's not personal. It's simply a business decision at this point in time. They have to do everything within their power to get the selection committee to notice. So far, they've done that. They've also received some help. So Tennessee, their best scenario to make the CFP. They got to win out. Doing that here, they got Vanderbilt coming up next week. They need a team like Indiana to suffer a loss. And a big one. Will that make the committee drop the Hoosiers out of the field of 12? They also could benefit from some SEC carnage, and they got that with Florida taking down Ole Miss. That helps far more than Indiana helps for Tennessee and Josh Heupel.
Absolutely, and everything seems to be falling in line in the way that Tennessee Volunteers fans want them to happen. And under Josh Heupel's rule, they've been able to make sure that this game has been playing out the way that they expected to as well.
Lewis with the carry right up the gut and taking on all the Miners down to the 6-yard line. Give him a 9-yard pickup. I know he's impressed you, Fozzie.
Yeah, he's such a physical runner. He gets downhill so fast, and at the point of attack, he just provides that extra little power to be able to deliver a blow to defenders.
And Lewis has his first multi-touchdown game of his budding career. This could be Dylan Sampson's final game inside Neyland. If he is, Peyton Lewis is saying, hey, I got next.
And he's been doing a fantastic job since the opportunities have presented itself through injuries. And Peyton Lewis, we saw him a week ago against Georgia showing that same type of burst and attitude. And he's picked up right where he left off on the football field. Second rushing touchdown today in Neyland.
And 1 point from hanging half 100 on UTEP. Peyton Lewis, freshman out of Salem, Virginia. And that is an offensive line that is doing work. Semi-finalist for the Joe Moore Award, given to the top O-line for the 3rd straight season. The pass protection, in the words of the Tennessee coaching staff, hasn't been quite as good as years past, but what they have done paved the way for the ground. Tennessee, now the road is paved to get to Nashville to take on Vandy in a game that the Volunteers will need to win. Tennessee leads all time with 80 wins, 32 losses, 5 ties. But with Diego Pavia and company, this is a different look Vanderbilt team. They are built strong enough to knock off Tennessee like they did against Alabama.
Absolutely. You see the percentages by ESPN Analytics at 78%. In the past, that would have been upwards of probably close to 90% of Vanderbilt of old. But Diego Pavia has provided an entirely different approach to this Vanderbilt Commodores team.
And with that dude's edge, nothing would excite him more than spoiling the chances for Tennessee to make the field of 12.
Yeah.
That guy lives and thrives on chaos.
I was about to say that's where he thrives and performs at his best. Tennessee will absolutely be ready for the challenge and the task at hand with this defensive line.
Pavia is the guy that you never invite to the party, but lo and behold, he always shows up at the party, and something happens when Pavia walks through that front door.
It's also a guy that you always want on your side.
Absolutely.
Rather than on the opposing side.
Tennessee, they love what they've got. Their freshman quarterback, Nico Iamaleava. Man, we forget that he's just a freshman. He's got quite some upside. Just 2 losses as a starter for Tennessee football. Most passing yards for a Volunteers freshman. Pickles stays in there at quarterback, and he swings it to Odom, and Odom is not going to make it very much farther past the original line of scrimmage. A 1-yard pickup. Eli Purcell, one of the many Volunteers in there to wreck shop.
And again, this Tennessee defense is not taking their foot off the gas. As aggressive as the offense has been, this defense has been equally as aggressive, ripping and raking at the ball, trying to force another turnover.
James Pierce not in the game. Looked like he hurt his left shoulder as he wrapped up the last UTEP drive with a sack against J.P. Pickles. And there's Javon Jackson. And Jackson is stopped after a 1-yard pickup. David Hobbs, Elijah Simmons with the tackle. Simmons, another one of the players that's been instrumental to the turnaround here for Tennessee football, playing his final game inside Neyland. And there is a great sign. James Pierce with the helmet on the sideline, licking his chops, looking for more.
I'm assuming his day will be done, considering how explosive and dynamic it's been. This game is pretty much out of hand. Start thinking about next week and what that game can provide traveling down to Nashville and what's at stake and on the line for the Volunteers.
Pickles on third down, complete to Odom. Odom will cut it back inside. And it looks like Kenny Odom will have enough for the first down. And if you are James Pierce, how about knowing that your last play inside Neyland potentially is a sack? What he does better than anybody in college football. Oh, we are swag surfing with the fine folks inside Neyland, aren't we, Fozzie?
We are swag surfing, baby. Woo! Let's go.
Ah, there we are. Hey, first trip to Neyland. This checks all the boxes.
Absolutely.
I mean, here at Rocky Top, I mean, this place is awesome. If you have not been here, you need to get here. Notable games around the SEC. Texas needs to beat Kentucky, try to get to the SEC championship. Bama trying to avoid the upset. Though Texas A&M goes to Auburn. The Aggies are the team not enough people are talking about.
Yeah.
They control their destiny. If they went out, they could win the SEC championship as well and get to that 12-team playoff. Back to Jackson on the ground. But you got to get through Auburn.
Yes.
You got to get through Texas. And then you have to win the SEC championship game.
In that game tonight, Jordan Hare, 2-point favorites.
Just two.
Just two for the Texas A&M Fighting Aggies.
It's not called swag surfing when they do what we just did. Snap gets away from Pickles, and Pickles will just live the fight for another down. And throws it away. It's going to bring up 3rd and 5.
Pickles does a great job of avoiding disaster there. Is less than an ideal play of the snap not being able to get to him properly, but then keeping his composure, being able to throw the ball away, eliminate the large negative play, and then put his team in a 3rd and manageable situation where Tennessee has feasted all game long.
No Pierce here. He's got 2 sacks. Joshua Josephs, number 19, waiting to get his. It's going to be on the ground. Jackson with the seam and right to the sticks. Depends on the spot here. And it's going to be a first down for the UTEP Miners. They're fighting for something still. They want to see some points on the board. They called the win against Kennesaw State, a program-defining win. They put up 43 points, most since 2020. More than anything, it got this program believing what they can become under the young head coach, Scotty Walden. And we have a stoppage on the field.
There appears to be an issue. I can't tell what's going on, but Coach Heupel is not happy with something that's happening on the side.
Ruling on the field was a runner earned the gain to line to gain. That play is under video review.
So, did Jackson get enough?
You see the elbow is down right around that 45-yard line, and the ball, we can't see it from this angle clearly where the ball is at that moment, but it appears to be behind the 45-yard line, which would make him short of the line to gain of picking up a first down. And hopefully we get another angle to be able to see, but right there clearly you see the elbow down, and once that elbow goes down, the runner is down, and he for sure is short, in my opinion, of the 45-yard line, which is the line to gain, which would prove to be 4th down for the UTEP Miners, who I would assume at this point in time would just go for it.
I mean, you've done everything else in this game so far, which I admire UTEP for doing.
After video review, the runner's left elbow is down prior to reaching the line to gain. It'll be 4th down at the 44.5.
I mean, did we see 2 double passes from them in the first quarter alone?
We did see double passes. One to the tight end, Vincent, and the other to Locklear, who actually had a big explosive gain. And that was in the point where the UTEP Miners were out-producing from a yardage perspective what Tennessee was doing.
see how nasty the Tennessee defense wants to be right here. How motivated are the Vols with a 49-point lead? This would be a situation where UTEP would go to Shea Smith. They don't want to burn the red shirt. So it's Pickles, right side. I don't know if he got it.
He did not. He's short.
That's going to be a turnover on downs.
Yeah, from the initial spot, he is short.
I'm looking at the far judge, and he took a step backwards from the line of scrimmage. And it is Tennessee football stonewalling the Miners on 4th down. That's a team that's still got some juice, trying to send a statement.
And you asked how would they respond? Well, they don't want to be the part of the team, and he doesn't even get close to the 45-yard line. They don't want to be the part of the team that gave up a 1st down and then the touchdown. You got to protect the goose egg, and this Tennessee defense is still making sure that their presence is felt and playing aggressively.
Mentioned Joshua Josephs not getting his sack. He had to stop there at the line, though, to deny UTEP on 4th down. And it's now Gaston Moore time. Opportunity for the 5th-year senior to play in his final game at Neyland, and incomplete as he was looking for Mike Matthews. Story for Gaston Moore has been well documented. Started his career at UCF with Josh Heupel. Followed him here. He's been the number 3 quarterback for the past couple of years. Has moved into the backup role. Heck, he was really close to being the guy on the road to get that start against Georgia last week. Tennessee on the ground. Oh, get some, says Cameron Seldon.
Woo! Low. Whenever you're talking about running with authority, Seldon has embodied that exact moment. Bow! Low in the shoulder.
Like a freight train. Now we'll try to submarine under a tackle attempt. And back-to-back carries for the sophomore from Virginia. And that moves the chains. Day is done for Nico Imaliava. 17 of 23, 209, 4 touchdowns. And no turnovers.
And most of those incompletions all came in the 1st quarter.
Yeah, it took him a little while to wake up.
Yeah,
he's awake.
He woke up the wrong guy once he got going, and you can see this offense responds positively, obviously, whenever Nico is playing at a high level.
Why not keep it on the ground? Go left and come right. And Cameron Seldon is all about that action. He just wants bodies.
He is a bruising, battering ram. And he's 222 pounds listed on the roster, but he runs as if he's about 240 and has that type of mindset and mentality that he wants to punish you if you try to come in to tackle him.
Now, this would be as close to Tennessee is going to get to letting off the gas.
Yeah.
Keeping it on the ground, eat up a little bit more of the play clock. Again, this is all business, nothing personal. Right side is looking promising for Seldon. And another 1st down.
You can see the rushing attack by the Volunteers also has been a point of emphasis through the 2nd, 3rd, and the 4th quarter, as a lot of the success Nico was able to experience early on, and now what the Volunteers are experiencing currently have come through the addition and the supplementation of the ground game being effective and efficient and explosive in the way that it has been.
Moore scrambles, throwing across his body, back of the end zone, incomplete. Flag is down as well at the 11-yard line and at the 22 and at the 17.
We've got 4 flags on the field. There were multiple things that went wrong on this play.
Let's see who committed Those penalties.
There are 2 live ball fouls during the play. Ineligible receiver downfield, offense, number 72. Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, number 30. Those fouls offset, it's still first down.
So Nate Diamond called for roughing. And that is a call that absolutely has to be made. Got to protect the quarterback.
Yeah, and you almost could have been called for targeting, considering.
And I think that's what they're going to look at right now.
Yeah. You hit a guy in the head and neck area.
The previous play is under video review for a potential targeting.
I think you nailed it there, Fozzie. When you took a look at it, not only was it late,
but defensive player getting hit in the head or neck area, and clearly after the ball was released.
Well, we'll give opportunity for the officiating crew to take a look at this, and we'll get the ruling when we return to Knoxville. Sixth element. So the review has resulted in no targeting call on Nate Diamond, so he is allowed to remain in the game. Offsetting penalties, so we'll play first down again. Tennessee inside the 20. Eighth trip inside the red zone for Tennessee today.
They've been running it so effectively as well. That could have been a perfect opportunity for Gaston Moore to run around the edge on a keeper, but I don't think that was in the play card. It probably was a design give all the way. And the way that Cameron Seldon has been running the rock, I can understand why it's been give all the way, because he's been the hammer and not the nail.
How about 7 red zone touchdowns for Tennessee?
That's the area they struggled at the most this season.
And getting right at the right time. Another carry for Seldon. Plowing his way forward, and this will be just short of the 10-yard line. Bring up a third down. At what point do you say in the course of a game, we need more, now we need to back off, and you dictate your final approach for the game?
I think that happens as the depth of your team begins to get tested. You want to save on the amount of injuries and the wear and tear, prepare for next week, and I think that will tell you when the appropriate time is.
Seldon is able to break a couple of tackles. Dorian Hopkins was looking for a stop right there at the line. He couldn't hang. And Seldon picks up the first down. At 7 carries, 47 yards in the season opener against Chattanooga. It was hurt the next couple of games. Played a larger role against Mississippi State. 6 carries, 26 yards. He has yet to find the end zone. Moore will throw the little touch. And Mike Matthews was looking for the moss. Didn't get it.
He had some great defense there by the defender, being able to get in between Mike Matthews, and the ball was thrown where only Mike Matthews can make a play. But at the end of the day, Josiah Allen does a great job of targeting the hands of Mike Matthews and raking through and making sure that that ball falls incomplete.
Another carry for Cameron Seldon. And down to the 3-yard line. It's a UTEP defense playing without Amir Boyd Matthews. He actually has the second best completion percentage against him in the FBS. Opponents are 5 of 23 when throwing his way. So that's obviously a big loss for the UTEP secondary here. Certainly would have helped. When you're down 49-0, it's just an orange wave overwhelming right now by Tennessee. And there is the payoff for Cameron Seldon, his first touchdown. Light it up, why not Tennessee? Statement made here on Rocky Top.
And now 8 for 8 on red zone drives, and number of times they've hit pay dirt. And coming into this game, it's the area that they struggled at, but now have done it 100% of the time so far. And Seldon being the latest recipient to help the Volunteers go up even bigger than they were previously.
Dylan Sampson has a score. Peyton Lewis has one, actually 2, and now Cameron Seldon, the latest ball to add another 6-point salvo to the board. Committee, are you paying attention? They hope you are here, Knox. To get into the college football playoff, Josh Heupel knew first things first, his boys would have to take care of business. Check, 56-0. Also, how about getting some help? Billy Napier to the rescue. Florida takes down Ole Miss 24-17. That opens up the door for Tennessee to move into that 12-team field as early as Tuesday when the next rankings come out.
And it'll be interesting to see how the committee favors right now a 56-point victory against an FBS opponent. Tennessee making sure they take care of business, and it all starts with Master Chief himself, Josh Heupel, creating the mindset that this team is on a mission, and that mission is to dominate this game.
You mean the guy from Halo?
There he is, the guy from Halo.
Got you now, my man. Got you. UTEP fighting to put some points up on the board. Had a couple of 50-yard field goal attempts, really the closest that they have come. They missed both of those. And this is Tennessee domination, up 56-0. Here are the most likely SEC championship game matchups now, as of right now in this moment, following the Ole Miss loss. 49%, it's Alabama against Texas, 21% Georgia, Texas, 10% Bama, Texas A&M. What you don't see is Tennessee there. I promise, don't spend the time looking into it because it's so convoluted. It's just probably not going to happen. It would start with Auburn beating Texas A&M and Alabama, and then getting some help along the way as well. Here's the screen to Kenny Odom, looking for the sideline and scampering down to the 43-yard line. But this day is really as good as you could hope for if you were a Tennessee fan, you're part of this fall's program.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything's falling in place. Like you mentioned, the Florida victory, being able to see Ohio State beat Indiana as well. And then your guys that needed to step up in today's game have stepped up. They're finding a rhythm, and this defense is playing lights out.
Pickles to throw, showing off the arm strength, open man. Underthrows Kenny Odom. Well, and to the extent, I know it's just today, but that Florida win, unless there's a lot of insanity, may just be enough. That may be all Tennessee needs to get into the field if they finish out this game, beat Vanderbilt. The wild card to me is Army.
Yeah.
That's going to be a tricky situation to see what happens there if they can beat Notre Dame, which you would think then they would just replace Notre Dame perhaps into the field, as Pickles running for his life. 3 volunteers there for the stop, starting with Eli Purcell. But you could see a situation where 2 group of 5 teams get in.
Yeah.
Because Boise State's looking like right now, but if Army beats Notre Dame, then beats Tulane, a ranked team in the American Championship game, that could leave 2 group of 5 teams in. But at that point, Notre Dame drops out.
Yeah, not to mention what happens in the Big 12, because they're just as convoluted, it seems like, with the SEC from a standpoint of if they can get the top-tier champion in there and possibly another, trying to sneak an additional bid in the CFP.
Pickles trying to make some moves on third down. Caleb Herring corrals him. Really think, though, there's any possibility for the Big 12 to be a two-bid league?
I don't think a two-bid would surface, but if there was a chance or a possibility where BYU finishes with only one loss and then loses in the championship game to a opponent that'll be ranked right around their area,
like Colorado,
yeah, then that could impact how many open bids are available.
I think the committee already made that statement, though. The way they dropped BYU coming
after
off
the
their loss to
True.
Kansas State, it's not going to be enough. The resume, or more than anything, the eyeball test is not there. And there is a jump by the Tennessee defensive line. It looked like it was Herring. It was in the neutral zone.
Offside, defense, number 31, in the neutral zone, causing reaction by the offensive player. 5-yard penalty, still fourth down.
The ACC is probably the conference race that could be the most impactful to Tennessee. Because at this point, SMU is behind Tennessee, is one of the teams left out. What happens, though, if SMU gets in by winning the ACC and the committee selects Miami as an at-large team?
With Miami
they become a bid
only
stealer.
being 2 spots ahead of Tennessee, I don't think that happens. If they take another loss, they'd be behind Tennessee.
But it goes back to the significance as J.P. Pickles turns the corner to the 40-yard line in the first down. Comes back to the significance of making it to your conference championship
Big
game.
time. Big time.
And that's the great unknown.
Yeah, you get penalized almost for playing in the championship game in the same way Georgia got penalized a season ago, even though it was only a 4-team format.
Yeah.
That was the only game they lost. Ultimately, they suffered the consequences.
Clutch fourth down scamper there by J.P. Pickles, the freshman that came in for Skylar Locklear. Work it on the sweep, and that is Joshua Dye taking it to the 39-yard line. Tyree Weathersby been bolted there to make the stop.
If you think the end of the game doesn't mean much, just pay attention to where this Tennessee Volunteers defense is ending up at every single tackle. You got multiple guys putting a hat on the ball carrier, and they're doing it with bad intentions, trying to make sure that every moment counts every time they touch the field.
And now Heupel is going to some of the reserves. Another double pass, the third of the night, and it could be picked off. Tippy-toeing on the sideline. Did John Slaughter get it? He does. Slaughter preserves the shutout.
Going on the field is an interception. First down, Tennessee.
By the third time, UTEP pulled off the same play. Tennessee read it like a book. Slaughter all over it.
Yeah, he's all over it. Ball's thrown up too high. Coming down with another turnover for this Volunteers defense.
If you're a group of 5 team, you got no shot against Josh Heupel. I mean, come on now. 7-0 against the group of 5, outscoring them 395-53, and adding to that because it's 56-0 here today in Knoxville. That is how you overwhelm an opponent. Navy Schuler now checks into the game at quarterback. We know he is ready, Fozzie, because he dabbed twice before taking the field. And his first pass is good for a completion down the sideline to Braylon Staley.
Any man that dabs before taking the field is dangerous.
Yeah. What they don't know about us is we started a phenomenon called the dab train.
Yes, sir.
Sweeping the nation, nobody at a time.
Literally.
Schuler gives it up. Khalifa Keith with the pickup. And here he is getting his mind right with a
Dab.
Get dab on it.
And an extra side
back to
of
back.
dab.
What? What just happened?
Just a dab.
It's the man living his best life.
On senior day as well.
And Keith rumbles forward for the first down pickup. This is an emotional day for the senior class. Tennessee was in a bad spot. 3 wins the year before. Josh Heupel was hired by Danny White, brought him over from UCF. And this is what Tennessee football is now supposed to look like.
Yeah.
And the senior class has been instrumental in that. Even guys like Schuler hasn't played, but this is a man getting the opportunity to be on the field to wrap up his Tennessee career. Incomplete to Staley.
And to your point, I know you mentioned earlier about the conversations that you had with Heupel. If you go up big, are there guys that you want to get on the field? And he hadn't thought about it yet. Well, some thought has been put in about putting guys like Navy Schuler, who's been a part of this program, and kind of probably what he means to a lot of the players and what he embodies. Perfect opportunity to go out on senior day.
And here's Keith with the lane to the 50 and down to the 45. Josiah Allen with the stop, but a 24-yard pickup by Khalifa Keith. Yeah, talk about your starting center. Preseason All-American Cooper Mays, a star here at Tennessee. His dad played here, his brother played here, and has been instrumental to one of the most dominant offensive lines in college football that allows Tennessee to be so balanced and so devastating whatever path they choose offensively.
Yeah, and instrumental from Heupel also creating the identity that they wanted to create whenever Heupel first took over the job. And I got to give my hat off to Coach Heupel, and I'm probably the most impressed over the past 4 seasons by what he's been able to do in turning this program around. 55 scholarships available to him to utilize whenever he first took over. And where they're at now, incredible.
That is the 2-minute timeout.
Cooper Mays will watch the final 2 minutes from the sideline. He has given everything he has got to this Tennessee program he loves, and they love him back here in Knoxville. The newest projections from the All-State Playoff Predictor after Georgia gets a win and Tennessee is on their way to a win, it bumps up the Volunteers' chances of making the field of 12 from 67% pregame to 70%. And that's maybe Schuler on the run, scrapping to get back to the line of scrimmage. To me, a 3% bump does not sound right for Tennessee, considering that it's almost a given 4 teams from the SEC are going to make it, and A&M and Texas will essentially eliminate each other in the regular season finale. Are you feeling that?
Yeah, I think the percentage point should be higher as well. But like I said, it's above my pay grade.
Yeah.
I can't understand all of the things that go into putting the playoff predictor together. But with the win today and the Ole Miss loss, it puts Tennessee in a very viable position to make sure they take advantage of securing a spot.
Yeah, it really comes down to what was at stake and how could you improve your standing as much as possible. I don't know if you can improve a punt better than that one down at the 1-yard line. I think a beauty is Jalen McMurray, former team captain at Temple, was down there as Jackson Ross had the pinpoint placement.
That's not the first time McMurray has made a play like that as the gunner fielding the ball to make sure. That's the Heisman pole.
What?
From Ross.
Let's go. I'm sorry, Travis Hunter. I'm sorry, Ashton Genty.
Oh, my
Jackson
goodness.
Ross just stole your thunder. Bust out the bronze. The punter's going to win.
And again, you got to find the goal line. Make sure you keep yourself in between the ball and the goal line. McMurray does a fantastic job and has done a fantastic job. That's his third opportunity to be able to pin the ball deep inside of UTEP's territory, and then the Heisman pose.
Have you ever seen a specialist do that?
I have not.
First time for everything. And Pickles complete. There's a flag down. As UTEP is now emptying the bench. As that was Davis with the catch. But I was just saying, get this call here.
An ineligible man downfield.
Nels a receiver downfield, offense, number 87. Half the distance to the goal, still first down.
Today ultimately is about how much could you improve your standing, and it's a lot to nothing. 56-0 to be exact, and you needed some other teams to start falling, and Ole Miss did. And that is probably the most impactful loss that Tennessee could have gotten to go in their way, because it's in conference. And right now you have that log jam of those 5 SEC teams that were right around 12, and that going to be a safety, no, spotted right outside the goal line as Ryan Scott was there like a tornado.
And again, if you think at this point in the game it means nothing, just watch this defense continue to fight and scratch and claw for every opportunity to make their presence felt in this dominating victory by the Volunteers.
UTEP will have to take one more snap.
Might be better off running a quarterback sneak here.
Just avoid going backwards. Pickles will throw. There's a completion to Davis, and he is knocked out of bounds with 2 seconds on the clock.
Saves time to prep Maryland to do the dab with Coach Hype.
I don't think she's going to do it, Boston.
Well, we got to make sure she knows what's at stake. Navy Schuler did it. We get a Heisman pose from Ross as a specialist.
And now timeout for Tennessee.
Coach Hype was on our side.
Yeah.
The timeout is to be able to prepare Maryland, our reporter,
hit that dab?
To hit the dab.
And this has got to be about putting certain dudes in the game that don't typically get that shot.
Maybe,
Maryland, you gonna dab?
Well, maybe the guys they throw in for you here will. I never have, and I just don't know that this is the right time to start. And I hear your argument, no better time than now, right?
A punter just struck the Heisman pose, and you're saying now's not the right time?
Hey, if I punt, I'll dab. That's my guarantee for you guys, okay?
This is a new world of college football. We got punters striking the Heisman pose. We got 4-string quarterbacks dabbing back-to-back before going on the field and playing for a spot in the 12-team playoff.
What a time.
What a time to be alive. And Volunteers getting some of the seniors on the field as they will wrap up their career for the final time here at Neyland Stadium. Hallowed grounds in college football. And Josh Heupel has restored prominence to this Tennessee football program. Gotta call that with all sorts of movement on the right side for UTEP, with the Vols D-line jumping as well.
Offside, defense, number 12, in the neutral zone, causing reaction by the offensive player. 5-yard penalty. Results in a first down.
And 20 years before the arrival of Josh Heupel, Tennessee football went undefeated inside Neyland Stadium once. And Tennessee has now gone undefeated at home for the second time in 4 seasons under Josh Heupel. And the message is loud and clear. CFP Selection Committee, what do you think of the Vols now? Drew McCoy wrapping up his home career with not 1, but 2 touchdown catches. Nico, sluggish start, finished hot. Sampson with a touchdown run. A complete performance after being shut out in the first quarter by Tennessee. The day could not have gone better for Josh Heupel and the Volunteers. Here he is with Maryland.
You wanted to control what you could today. How do you assess what your team put on the field in that regard?
Love the way we competed early. There's some things that we could have been smarter in offensively. But all 3 phases played hard, played physical. We still got to grow and play smarter football. Pre-snap penalties. But love the effort today.
How does this grade out in comparison to what your expectations were and what you feel your team needs to do here?
I love what we did today. Defense puts up a goose egg. Offensively efficient and effective. Special teams play extremely well. Our cover units were elite. Look at the way we pinned the ball inside the 10-yard line. End of the day, this was the next step for us as a football team in this journey. We got to continue to grow. Obviously, have a huge one next week in Vandy.
When you go to Vandy, what do you think you have to do to prove to the playoff committee that you deserve an opportunity there?
For us, listen, it's about being the best team on the field on Saturday, and that's it. This football team's competed extremely hard throughout the course of the year, played a lot of really good football at a really high level within this conference. Let's just go play and get a win.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Diego Pavia, where you at? Will Vandy be ready for these Tennessee Volunteers? You gotta believe so. Here's the checklist for Tennessee. The best case scenario to make the field of 12. Needed to win out. All right, how about 56-0 in the first of their final 2 of the regular season? Needed some chaos around them. Indiana lost big to Ohio State with the Hoosiers' lack of a resume. That could be enough to bump Indiana, especially if it comes down to comparing their resume with that of a Tennessee. But would help even more carnage in the SEC. You got that from Billy Napier. Some cookies are on the way to Gainesville, Florida from Drew McCoy, because Florida takes down Ole Miss 24-17. I think that's the direct path for Tennessee now in to the college football playoff.
Yeah, absolutely. Josh Heupel is right about one thing, making sure that this team wins on Saturday. And the most important game is the next game. And that showdown in Nashville is going to be one for the ages with everything on the line. But the mindset that they have is one of being on a mission.
But how amazing is this for a storied program and one of the most rabid fan bases in college football? Their program, the boys they love, the Tennessee Volunteers, still alive in the hunt for the college football playoff and a national championship. Thank you so much for watching from Knoxville.